This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
From Wes Craven, the creator of Scream, comes the horror series that started it all. All 7 Nightmare on Elm Streets are fully remastered and available on DVD for the very first time. And all 7 DVDs will be available only in a Platinum Series Collector's Box Set. The Platinum Series continues to raise the standard for DVD and features extras you've only dreamed of.
Your wish is my command.
A bonus DVD, the Nightmare Series Encyclopedia, the most comprehensive, mind-blowing features and menus that have ever been created. Come on. Plus, interviews with all 7 directors, cast members, and crew, including feature-length commentary from director Wes Craven.
He's real, isn't he?
Great. That business.
The first 3D DVD sequence from a major studio, glasses included. Jump to a nightmare scene navigation for all 7 films. And that's not all. Groundbreaking DVD-ROM content including 8 original trivia games, all 7 screenplays, plus your computer will be haunted by interactive Freddy from ToggleThis.com.
You are all my children now.
And after years off the shelves, all 7 films return to video digitally remastered. Each edition includes the film's theatrical trailer and never-before-seen interviews with the film's director, available individually or a commemorative box set. So be sure to get the series that stars Johnny Depp, Lawrence Fishburne, Patricia Arquette, and more.
I am eternal.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
There's no need to fear the number 13 any longer.
Okay, you big hunk of a man, come and get me.
Everyone's just dying for Jason. And now his latest stab at terror has been slashed to just $19.95. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Plus, customers can scream again and again with the entire Friday the 13th Never Say Die collection.
So, long story short, there will be hot takes, but there will be only love. Because we got a mature crowd here. We're not flinging shit at each other. It's all about validating.
Oh, now you tell me.
Shit, wrong podcast. Oh, sorry. Did you think this was Drake and Derulo or whoever the hell he's feuding with? What, did you think this was a rap battle? Sorry. Wrong podcast.
Yeah, I had 8 diss tracks all lined up.
Shit. God damn it. Yeah, no, basically, this was a long time in the making. Like, we wanted to do this when we first launched in 2019, and then we couldn't get everyone on the same track. I'm glad we waited this long. I feel like so many of us have changed our interest as we've gone on and all that, and you didn't want to just rush through these. And I know you could argue that some of these become lowbrow after a while, but I believe in giving every movie as much time as I can, just so I don't sound like a babbling idiot. And if going on memory, hey, if it's vivid in your memory, that's fine too, And so I was glad that we waited for a while and it's like, okay, perfect. Now is the perfect Halloween special to do the franchise face-off. And that's the other thing too. I had seen people rank do like the ultimate Elm Street ranking or all the Jason film rankings. I never seen anybody do a franchise versus another franchise. So we were just like, okay, cool. We're going to do that with Alien and Predator eventually. We'll do it with Star Wars and Star Trek, but let's have
I
Freddy.
thought we did Alien too.
We didn't.
Oh, no, that was
we didn't face off the entire franchise, like who had the better comics and who had the better games.
Okay.
So I was like, let's have Freddy and Jason kind of start off that whole thing. And
can I go on one small tangent real quick before we really get going?
Yes, Mom.
Everybody always says Star Wars versus Star Trek. I feel like the two aren't really all that compatible because Star Trek is always a little more hard science fiction, while Star Wars is more fantasy in space. It's a bunch of space wizards throwing magic back and forth at each other.
True.
And I don't know if anybody's really done it, but what I would think would be cool, just my own personal opinion, would be Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings.
That's fair.
I'm always going Star Wars right there.
No, absolutely.
Playing guitar.
Well, absolutely, because we're talking fantasy. They really don't much in common, other than
if you're talking hard sci-fi, it'd be more like Star Trek versus Battlestar Galactica.
Or
Galactica,
or Stargate,
yeah, or Stargate, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No,
I think the only reason that it keeps being Star Trek and Star Wars is because of that difference, and it does become very personal. And they're kind of just from the movies, they're sort of wrapped up in the same generation.
That's a good point.
I did my versus comparison years ago.
It's like Elvis and Beatles. It's kind of more like that.
That's true.
Are you an Elvis man or a Beatles man?
Good point.
Depends on the time of day.
See, Jack always brings it around. Jack is the ultimate peacekeeper. He should work for the UN.
I mean, if the money was better, no.
Yeah, if he had time to stitch all these countries back together.
I'd rather work
the guy who's like, okay, you two dictators, you duke it out in a wrestling ring while we all watch.
I'd rather work in movies where the stakes are, hey, your movie sucked. Life goes on.
True.
Right?
That's how I feel.
Lots simpler.
Like I was watching Wolves in 2014 the other night. And oh my God, I loved it back then. I was like, this is so good. Why did I like it? And then I watched it the other night. I was like, this is fucking horrible.
What movie in 2014?
Wolves, Jason Momoa.
How did we get there?
I'm coming back to it.
Okay.
But yeah, but like watching it, like Momoa he was having a ball playing that one. And it's a bad movie, but he was having fun, and I could tell that. And I like that kind of shit, because you have all these different movies that come out, and people are like, oh, it's so horrible, it's so bad. And then you go based off that, and you come back to it and watch it yourself, and you're like, this isn't bad, this is really good. Everybody else just doesn't know how to dictate how it's supposed to be. You just go by one line of thought, it's bad, and then you're forever locked on that until you actually watch it yourself and formulate your own thing versus a fucking website telling you how to do it.
What I always love is when you watch a movie that was a notorious flop and a notorious bomb, and it's getting reappraised, and you're like, yeah, let's rewatch it. And then you watch it and you're like, oh, this did suck. They were right.
We got it right the first time. So now the question becomes, why are other people exploding on it or rediscovering it? Or, I mean, I think I saw a few people do that with like some spy comedy on Netflix and then a few other like serial killer movies. And it's like, really? How did we get here? But it is what it is. Okay, Cinema Mac. Mac at the movies. There you go, buddy. Hey, welcome. I'm going to be circling around. We'll validate everybody. We got 14 points. And if we can't get to an even number, we'll figure it out. I'll flip a coin. We'll determine who has, the best of the first 7 parts. Then we'll determine if Jason parts 8 through 10 are of any validity. And we'll determine if the versus movie has more merit for Freddy or has more merit for Jason. And if it is a good movie or a bad movie, then we will determine which had the better spinoff or remake. If we hate all of 4 of those, then we still got to determine which one sucked less.
You should write this down so you don't forget.
I don't have to forget. I'm letting you know.
Okay. Just saying.
So, welcoming aboard, we got Lucas Dickinson, Oreo, back in the show. Welcome.
Hello.
Author Bill Hatfield is back with us. Welcome.
Greetings, everyone.
He watches a movie per day. Voices from the Balcony, frontman blogger Jim Morazzini. Welcome.
Hi.
Hey, podcaster and movie buff Gabriel Jewett is back.
Hey, what's up?
The sky. And Jason's falling. Filmmaker Jack Bennett is back with us.
That's me.
And then we got Parker from Dissect That Film.
Hello.
Hello.
Great to be here.
Ryan McGann from the Front Facelock podcast.
Hello.
He's always exploding on Twitter. He's always got a hell of a sit down going with his cast. And I'm your host, Soli. Let's get these nightmares out of our heads.
So many doctors have tried.
Nightmares never leave my head.
Nightmares are just horror movies directed by your brain.
Exactly.
Brought to you in part by CPTSD.
That too.
Wow.
I need a reboot.
A reboot of your nightmare?
Yeah.
Yay, depression.
Nightmares don't faze me anymore just because they're always so fake to where I start interacting with them. And next thing you know, like I wake up and I'm like, wow.
The
like,
things in your nightmares are going, this isn't supposed to happen.
Day where a professor was basically just putting me on the spot saying, you don't try anymore. And I'm just like, well, that's not true in any dark realm in any future. And so I just started arguing with the professor and I woke up. Like I was feeling like a motherfucker. Like I was getting F's and F's. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't happen in any reality. I get a C. I don't get an F. No, Mac from Mac of the Movies is with us, just in case I didn't mention you. How are you, buddy?
Just keeping busy. Just trying to make it through the month before I go on my mandatory 2 weeks.
It's not at Crystal Lake, is it?
No, I'm going to even worse, Niagara Falls, Canada.
Oh.
Oh boy. What? Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so we got 14 points. I'll circle around. We'll validate everybody here. And feel free to mention a moment of the particular movie we're discussing as well. That'll inevitably happen, but I'm just putting that disclaimer out there. So, Jack, you were really, really excited, so I'm going to let you go first. Does Elm Street Part 1 rule, or does Friday the 13th Part 1 just have a little more fun, even if it's objectively maybe not as great?
I've recently watched both series. I have to say, A Nightmare on Elm Street is not only instantly iconic, if you crank the volume on that thing, watch it in a dark room, it's just one of the great horror movies. And the original Friday the 13th is just a little bit more like a soft copy of Halloween. It doesn't
definitely a Bay of Blood. Sorry.
It doesn't work nearly as much. It's one of my least favorite in the franchise, just because I find it slow and kind of dull. The acting's pretty good for a movie like that, but no, I think it's an easy layup for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, so 1 point.
Did you by chance write each movie down?
Yes.
Okay, did you put a tally by each film?
Way ahead of you, homie.
All right, cool. Just checking.
Lucas, man, you've been really stoked for this. Which first installment of these franchises do you enjoy more?
I mean, it's not a surprise to anybody that knows me, but I'm gonna go with Friday the 13th.
Oh, good.
It's kind of like the more traditional type of slasher. As much as I love both franchises, Friday the 13th works better for me personally. Although it's not as scary. Although that could be because I originally watched Nightmare first, and I watched it too young. I was like 9 or 10, and it scared the absolute shit out of me at that age. Didn't get to Friday the 13th until a few years later, but yeah, for me it's definitely Friday the 13th, despite the fact, the obvious influence of Halloween and all that. But
nice.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Friday the 13th, I wouldn't be into horror, or I wouldn't be into any of this stuff. So
this is what I like. We validate everybody. This is more personal.
Exactly. Yes.
Love it. Ryan, not Styles. What you got for?
I have to go Nightmare on Elm Street.
Parker, not Ray. What do you got for us?
Nightmare on Elm Street. It was my introduction to horror. I love everything about that movie. Friday the 13th was one of the entries that I wouldn't watch as much as the others, so I don't have like that same connection or nostalgia for it. But I just revisited it for an episode, and I appreciate it as its own thing because the fact it's not Jason. You find, spoiler alert for anyone who doesn't know that.
Who the hell is he? No.
Come on. But yeah, I appreciate what they did in that movie. And I know like even Sean S. Cunningham came out and was just like, yeah, we were ripping off Halloween. Like that's what we wanted. And I just appreciate everything that went into that movie. But yeah, it's Nightmare all the way.
Mac, what you got for us?
It's for me, hands down, it's Nightmare on Elm Street. I just thought the kills were much more creative, especially the one with the rotating room. Creative kills, I'm going with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nice. Okay. Mac, laying down the law for us. All right. So, Bill, what you thinking?
For first installments, I got to go Nightmare on Elm Street because that first movie, of course, Wes Craven is a genius director, rest in peace. And that first movie just comes in fully formed.
You get to go next.
Jeez. So first versus first. I would have to go with, I mean, you could say the first one's underrated for having his mom as the killer. Like, that's a massive plot twist. Even today, like, that's massive. There's like, oh yeah, Jason's the killer. No,
okay, so Oreo, you're landing on 13th.
Yeah, I'm starting with that. And then with Elm Street, first one, that one is more iconic because you have a great cast. You have your introduction to the killer right off the bat. And it's like, there he is. He's right there versus Jason building up to his mom being the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that makes the difference between the first two is you have the stellar cast in Elm Street versus a great plot twist in Friday the 13th. But if I had to pick either one as the winner between the two, I'd have to go with the first one because it has a better plot twist. Even though Elm Street introduces your killer right off the bat and you have the star-studded cast following up with that, like, it's great. It's awesome. It's cool. But a plot twist that makes everybody think about something else, it really does change the game, especially for that time frame, because that's so wild. It's like, wow, usually it's a male killer, but you have your mom being the killer instead. Like, that's a hell of a plot.
We're actually wondering where the hell he came from.
Yeah, for real. Or Jason
I'm not the only one on Friday's side here so far.
Like I say, we're gonna, even regardless of who the winner is, we're gonna get our best points out. You know, this is like, there's a reason we keep talking about these damn franchises.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Even when it becomes formulaic, it's not just like any other franchise. You know, kudos to what's his name at New Line for Bob Shea for, you know, even understanding it. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when so many of those other guys were just caving into political pressure, acting like, oh, I'm sorry, we're making snuff. It's like, no, you're making a cool slasher. Stop it. I'll hand it over to Gabriel. Not the Archangel, just Gabriel. How you doing?
I gotta go Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's the perfect supernatural slasher. I like the cast, the special effects, just everything about it, I think, is just a great movie, especially for the time period. Friday the 13th's good. I like it a lot, but it's not even the best camp slasher from that time period, because, you know, you had The Burning, you had Sleepaway, which are like better movies in my opinion than the original Friday. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street's definitely the way to go for me.
All right, Jimmy, what you think? Jimmy.
It's kind of a hard choice for me, but I give a slight edge to Friday the 13th, just because I'm more a slasher type than a supernatural type. Okay. And from living in rural areas a lot of the time, being outside after dark, just kind of, it's naturally creepy to me.
I agree that helps. That does help, absolutely.
Nice.
I mean, not to take away from the original Nightmare. That's a damn good film, but
I love everything you guys have said. Yes, I feel like the first Friday the 13th, I didn't click with it right away. I thought it was fine. Elm Street is like the first big one, and just looking back at it now, man, this is a bleak movie, but it doesn't let its guard down. It makes use of it, and kudos to how they frame just the effects and shots. Like, I feel no matter whether you're watching this on a low res TV copy or, you know, on a Blu-ray, like, you feel that steam in the room, like you're trapped. It's a very claustrophobic movie, and it really plays well to that. So my vote's for that. But yes, I'm with you. yeah, Friday the 13th, the first one, is unfortunately overlooked, even though aside from the plot twist, like it makes good use of trying to be more than just another Halloween copycat. That's free for the 13th.
I mean, if they had went with
That's 7
Jason as
for
the killer in the first one, it just would have been a shitty ripoff completely, and wouldn't have the success it has now.
True.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
Elm Street is gonna win the part 1, just 7-3.
Yeah, go Freddy!
But there's plenty of room for everybody on the table. All right, so we're gonna circle around again on who has the best part 2. Mac, lead us away.
No doubt, I'm going with Friday the 13th Part 2 on this one. Just because I love the fact that Sackhead Jason's basically a tribute to the town of dreaded sundown. The double
That's a
spear
good
kill.
point. I actually haven't heard that. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I even came up with a fan theory that Jason's father was the Texarkana killer, but that'll be another time.
You know,
I don't hate it. I like it.
that would play more.
It would make the town of dreaded sundown more interesting.
That would be more interesting.
As much as I'm glad that Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 is getting the reappraisal that it deserves, I still got to go with Part 2 of Friday.
Okay, cool. Lucas, what you got for us?
Well, I'm gonna go on this one, Friday the 13th. Also, again, I like both of them, but I think that the atmosphere in Friday Part 2 is fantastic. It's got, I think, even more of the camp elements in that and everything, and a quicker, a little bit of a better pace, I think. Yeah. And you got Jenny, who is a fantastic final girl, my personal favorite final girl. She's
not from the block. I couldn't help it. Sorry.
She's my favorite final girl in horror. She's smart.
Actress for
she actually
was
Amy Steele, I think her name was.
Amy Steele.
Yeah. Amy Steele. She was made of steel. She was tough.
She actually fights back, uses her brain. She doesn't just run and everything. She's not helpless like so many of the other girls in these movies. So,
Parker, how about you lead us in?
Ooh, this is a tough one because I'm one of the few who actually has loved the second Nightmare.
If you love them both, you can just determine even like which one you typically watch more if it's that hard.
Growing up, it was the Nightmare series as a whole. So Nightmare 2, I definitely watched more than Friday 2. Man, this is tough. I'm gonna pick Nightmare. I'm gonna pick Nightmare because I love the way Freddy looks in this. It's probably the best makeup in the franchise. Part 3 is when Freddy started falling off being scary, where this one he is like genuinely scary, and he's got the really good makeup. And to be honest, I like the story. I like this like new kid moves into the house, starts experiencing stuff. Of course, like you have the whole gay overtone that they put on there that it never bothered me, and it never shouldn't bother anybody.
We're all pro-aggressive here, but
yeah, exactly.
In fact, I would even argue Elm Street 2 is the original toxic fandom before we had all the other people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where you can't determine who's legit didn't like it versus who didn't like it because a different voice was represented. You're like, for real?
Right. Yeah.
That's not the problem. It shouldn't be a problem.
So I'm just gonna give the slight edge to Nightmare just because I really love Freddy in this movie.
Yeah, Parker gets his man. Yeah. All right, Private Eye Ryan, what you got for us? What'd you investigate?
I like them both. Just like
I love it. We got a bunch of.
Just like Parker was saying, like I like the way he looks. I like the way he sounds. I love the story, the concept of the story. I think it could have been done better. Him possessing the body of somebody else because he's got the brains, blah, blah, blah. There was a lot of things that didn't make sense, like why he was coming out when everyone was awake. But then the pool scene is amazing. Like, that's one of the best scenes in all of the Nightmare movies.
All right, Jimbo, what's your take on the best part 2?
The best part 2? Probably Friday the 13th.
Oh, here we go.
It's
Hey, we just turned into the boss.
Hey. My problem with Nightmare Part 2 was they rewrote like you said, they rewrote so much of what Freddy could do and the rules for Freddy between the two films. Whereas for the Friday the 13th films, they just said, screw it, we're getting a whole new killer. You know, I go into Nightmare Part 2 and it's suddenly like, what the hell? This ain't Freddy. Freddy can't do that. What's he doing out during the day?
He's a vampire, man. But he adapted. I don't know.
He's a day walker.
A day walker. There you go. Blade versus Freddy. Love it. Alrighty.
Both New Line. You could do it.
Yeah, exactly. We could technically do it. All right, Bill. What's on your mind? Besides nightmares.
See, this one and the next two are going to be tough for me to choose.
All right, flip a coin.
Because yeah, I may end up having to. But in both cases, these are when, you know, I feel like they really come into their own. You've got Nightmare on Elm Street 2. You've got you know, they're changing up the style. They say, all right, the last one was Freddy killing a bunch of teenagers.
As you do.
This one, we're going to have one guy. We're going to follow him throughout the movie. I mean, I guess the first one, you followed Nancy throughout the movie, but still, you're going to follow this one guy and really get to know his character really well and really like sympathize with him and understand what he's going through instead of just, you know, having a bunch of kids be mindless cannon fodder. And I really loved that. I think it was as much of a good character study as it was a slasher movie. And like everyone has said, that pool scene is just one of the best points of the whole franchise. And I don't know why Wes Craven didn't like it. I think he said something about he thought it was stupid because Robert Englund was short and so all these teens were going to tower over him. But
I think it was a mixture of not being involved at first. I mean, I probably would be if I was in that mindset. And this is kind of where it gets into all these celebs are so close to the material. They just have to let it go, you know?
Yep. Right. But yeah, I gotta disagree with Wes Craven because that pool scene is just something else. I love it. And then we get to Friday the 13th Part 2, and yeah, we finally meet Jason. We've got one of my favorites, Hillbilly Jason, because I live in Arkansas. I'm just a couple hours away from Texarkana, so I grew up with the whole town that dreaded sundown, and so I always loved seeing Baghead Jason with his hay fork around.
Okay, so Bill, you are flipping a coin on 13th.
Yeah, coin flip. I think I'm gonna give the edge to Friday the 13th just by a hair.
Get it in the bag.
But I do very much love Freddy's Revenge. I think it might be the second or third best in the Nightmare franchise.
Oh, that's the beauty. You can like both. It's just we still got to pick a winner. So, all right. So, Jack, what you got for us, Simple Jack?
All right,
we'll do Simple Jack.
This is
now I want to see a Tropic Thunder version of Friday the 13th. Anyway, go ahead.
This is maybe the hardest one for me to pick.
And plus because I got two.
Well, Friday the 13th Part 2 is when that series started getting fun. Like that movie moves. It's got all the templates, all the things I look for from a slasher movie, from skinny dipping with the kind of girl who would never talk to me in high school, to inventive kills and high body count. Yeah, right.
I didn't hear any bitterness in that, by the way.
Oh, well, no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she'll talk to me now. Yeah, she'll talk to me now, but only because she wants a part. So the thing is, it's an important movie to me. It's an important movie in a lot of ways. But having just watched them recently, there's this thing that I notice as an adult, which is the movie that doesn't have the boring parts, which is the movie where the boring parts are still interesting to me. So I watch Friday the 13th Part 2 now, and the counselors are all kind of annoying, and it's just, I'm just waiting for the kills. It's still a good movie. It's still a really good movie, and it moves like crazy. But Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, I enjoy the quote unquote boring parts. I like the characters. I like the gay subtext. I like all of the weird stuff that happens in that movie I like that it's weird. I like that it is off formula. And it's a more interesting movie to me. And then you get to that pool scene that they've never replicated in any way in the rest of the franchise. It's the one movie that has that scene in it.
We got another, guys. That's the best one yet.
That's the thing. Those first 3 Nightmare movies, I like that they're so different from each other. They're still trying to figure out what they are. And Nightmare 2, for all the grief that it got, it's kind of influenced the rest of the franchise in ways that I think Wes Craven wouldn't even want to talk about. Sure. I'm gonna give it to Nightmare 2. I like that movie a whole lot, and just as a singular horror film that's different from anything else in the series, that's the movie that I want to put on if I'm going to put on one of the part 2s.
Alrighty, hey, we're actually neck and neck. This will be interesting. Gabriel, what's on your mind?
I gotta go Friday too. I think it's not only one of the best sequels, it's just one of the best slasher movies. Like people have said, it's has one of the best final girls. The kills are exquisite. I think it's just a massive step up from the
I love the emphasis on exquisite. Hey. Are we now going to judge who has the better gore and boobs? No, that will be here all day. So no.
He has better nipples. Hers are ugly.
It'll be an 8-hour podcast if we go that route.
Right.
Real.
Oh, but more practical here. Oh, but that was cooler. Oh.
But you can see her implant.
Jason killed more. I swear, Freddy killed more. I love it. All right, Oreo, second to last survivor.
I have not seen either of these films, but if I'm gonna pick them out,
what?
Kick him off the call.
Record scratch.
Isn't there a rule?
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't vote. All right, so you wrote in a vote for these nuts while we chose a party. Okay.
But if I had to pick, I would go with Elm Street.
Just close your eyes. Just
close your eyes. Yeah, close your eyes. I think I saw what I thought I didn't actually see.
No, it's true. I haven't seen all the films in either
I'm just
saga.
saying, what the fuck, dude?
What?
I don't watch horror that much. I really don't. Even the older stuff, I barely watch it.
Alrighty. I'm going to echo a lot of what you guys have said. I didn't think all the acting's 100% in part 2 of Elm Street, but you should still see it for the music score by Christopher Young, the cinematography, same cinematographer, as a matter of fact, Jax Hatkin, who later went on to shoot the Wishmaster movies. Rest in peace. I do think Kim Myers is good. Patton is all right. I think it goes pretty fast and everything. And the final shot on the bus, is very harrowing, kind of in an alien kind of way. You know the scene. It's not 100% for me, but so I got to give the edge, though, to Friday the 13th, because I feel like, kind of like Wrath of Khan, and I'm not ranking it on the same level as Star Trek, but it is in terms, I think the second movie is what just started the new style that everyone became knowledgeable on Friday the 13th for. You should see both of them at least once, just and make up your mind.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
The Jacked Up Review Show podcast is honored to be part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network. Join anytime, talk the talk, and enjoy yourselves. There's something enlightening for everyone with this crowd of cool cats. Check them out.
I'm so excited to find out what everybody votes for part 3. I can't imagine it won't.
Number 3. Third time's the charm. Hey.
It's going to be really interesting to see if anybody.
My answer was easy.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You say that now. Oh man. Okay.
Who's going first, Cam?
Well, hold up. Okay, so it was just barely, but we got 6-3. So yeah, Friday the 13th, part 2. Didn't help that one person didn't vote.
Ooh.
Ooh. So yeah, part 3. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be the turn of the ranking for sure. This is gonna be very interesting. All right. Gabriel, Archangel. What do you think?
Dream Warriors. I think Dream Warriors. I don't think it's the best Nightmare sequel, which I'll get to that. I know that might be a hot take, but it's definitely one of the best.
It's what it means to you.
Good soundtrack too.
The Dawkins
Dream
song,
Warriors.
Yes.
fantastic.
Ugh.
The cast is incredible. The you actually care about them. One thing I think Nightmare doesn't get appreciation for is showing funerals and showing like characters actually grieving.
That's true.
Which
Yeah.
I think Dream Warriors is
Any other time, it's often someone is desecrating a grave or doing something disrespectful. Like, no, we're actually seeing people mourn.
Yeah, like Nightmare handles, I think, characters growing from their experiences with Freddy really well, and Dream Warriors is one of the best examples of that, in my opinion.
Hey, emotional. I love it. Lucas, who's on first? Who's going to hit a home run?
Okay, well, this one for me, this is the toughest decision for me out of the
like you guys said, because
series.
you both have good elements.
Oh, they absolutely do, and but I do have to give the edge to Dream Warriors. I think it is probably the best supernatural slasher ever made, in my opinion. Anyway,
Hey.
it's even though it is the beginning of jokey Freddy, and
there's still more good than bad.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because there's not much comedy in this one at all.
The start of Chuck Russell's career before the Blob and Eraser.
And of course, I think we owe that all to that, welcome to primetime, bitch line.
That's right. That is. I was binging them all back, and I couldn't for the life of me remember. It's like, when does he say that? Is it in part 6? No, it's part 3.
Yeah, it's here and that. Yeah, that's the beginning of jokey Freddy. But despite that, this one it's scary. It's one of the most emotional, I think, of the Nightmare series. And
there we go. Mac, what are you thinking? Return of the Mac.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me too, because both of these do represent milestones. Who knew that Jason getting a hockey mask would be the big deal that it would become?
Yes.
Only to get outlawed in 2024.
Yeah. But I gotta go with Dream Warriors. There's just so much more for me to enjoy about Dream Warriors. That puppeteer kill still gets me with the tendons. That's sickening.
Or Bradley Gregg is just sitting there.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So
yes, and
I'm going to pick that one as the best kill in the franchise, honestly.
Oh,
absolutely. Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then also too, just some of the other ones like I Don't Believe in Magic is like one of my personal favorites as well. Where he just kills the D&D kid. But yeah, and this is Frank Darabont, Chuck Russell, Freddy Krueger.
That's right, one of Darabont's earliest
arguably loved. So yeah, I got to go with Dream Warriors on this one.
All righty, Return of the Mac, Billy.
Oh, so as I'm trying to decide this one, the question that I'm asking myself is, am I judging these by how good of a movie they are or how good of a slasher they are? Because those can be two very different things. Like Dream Warriors is a great movie. It has an excellent storyline of all these kids that have been thrown into a mental institution. They're going to gang up and go against their oppressor. It's just a really well-crafted, well-made movie, and it's just the perfect continuation after the first two. And then on the other hand, you've got Friday the 13th Part 3, which is just such a fun movie. I think it's just one that I can sit down and just have a good time with, watching all the cheesy 3D effects and like the eyeball poking out and going right at the screen, and just
it's so
the
much fun.
ridiculous subplot with the motorcycle gang. It is just so much fun, and it is really hard for me to pick. I think the better movie is Dream Warriors, but the better slasher is Part 3. And if we're discussing slasher franchises, then I got to give the edge to Friday the 13th.
All righty, look at Jason go, creeping up on us. Ryan, what you thinking?
Skip me because I told him my thing goes freezes at 29 after the hour and it's 28. So skip me and I'll come back.
He's stuck in the Matrix. Let's do this.
It just did a Jedi mind trick on me. All right. Jack, what do you think?
I am shocked that anybody picked Friday the 13th on this one. But
excuse me.
I gotta give it to this one. The Hockey Mask. Who'd have thought? Just like you said. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's, I don't know, last time I watched it, it bored me a little bit. And that's weird because after the second one, I feel like Steve Martin. I feel like Steve Martin as director of these movies. And I meant, Raymond Burr, Steve Martin. I think Steve Miner nailed Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah.
And then Friday the 13th Part 3 is just a little flabby, and I don't know. Maybe it's also me also being a Jersey native and watching. Apparently, Jersey is in California somewhere north of Los Angeles. But I don't remember the parts of Jersey.
So it's all right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's somewhere in the canyon. But there's something to be said for Friday the 13th Part 3, even with the cheesy 3D of it all. It doesn't shit the bed. It's a fun movie.
Yep.
But Dream Warriors is the master of puppets of horror movies.
I love it.
It's the third one. It's the most popular. And yeah, you might like other ones better, but it's the best. It's just head and shoulders above. It's the most rewatchable. And Lucas, you're absolutely right. It's the only one that has like emotion to it. I get a little misty.
Oh, yes.
When she says, I'm going to dream. When she says at the end, when Patricia Arquette.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm like, why am I watching a slasher flick in which I hate the slasher for killing these kids? And it's just like, it's a fucking masterpiece of a movie. And you can tell because everyone after it until New Nightmare is just trying to remake Dream Warriors. Yeah. So there you go. Dream Warriors, if I could vote for it twice, I would.
Oh, then we'll be here all day because we've upset the scale. Peter Parker, what do you got?
This wasn't hard because I have, when it comes to Friday Part 3, it's close to the bottom of my ranking for this franchise. The fact that he gets his mask from Shelley infuriates me every freaking time I watch this movie because Shelley is one of the worst. I will never judge anyone for loving Shelley, but I can't stand Shelley.
Well, he's the franchise's lawyer, so you got to give him some credit for that.
I was about to say he's actually a lot of people's lawyer, so you can't.
I do love Shelley.
The actor, hey, listen, the actor. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. The character is just annoying, and just the fact that he gets the mask from him, it pisses me off every time. Dream Warriors is fantastic. It's got some of the most iconic kills in the franchise. The story is great. It's got Lawrence Fishburne in it. So
as one of the psych wards. Yeah.
Wes Craven's back, putting his fingers into the franchise, along with Frank Darabont, who's a legend.
Wasn't Yaphet Kotto in that?
No, that's later.
He's dead.
3 more movies.
Part 6.
Also, I love that you look at the guys in your casting and you say, okay, he's going to play the orderly, and let's get the guy from Body Double to give the worst performance of his career as the Bill Maher lookalike psychiatrist.
Oh my God.
Who has a weird relationship
Bill Maher
with Nancy.
lookalike.
Like, what the hell is
The
this?
Bill Maher lookalike. Okay.
Oh, and Nancy's back. Like, come on. Like, this movie is, like, when it comes to a nightmare movie, it is almost perfect.
Yep. Fair enough. Well, the last few are collecting their thoughts, I'll just say yes. I got to go with Dream Warriors.
Me too. I can go now after you're done. Like my.
Okay. So Oreo and I are combining our thing, and then we'll let you go. So yeah, Nancy and her cop dad returning really carries the movie. There's a lot of stunning sequences in the dreams.
So obviously, I'm going Nightmare 3. It's the first one I've seen of the whole franchise when I was a kid. That was the first one. It's a damn near perfect movie in my opinion, as far as a horror movie.
I can't imagine watching this first. That's awesome. So Jim, not Wynorski. Pretty much everybody's
boy Jim Wynorski. Come on.
I couldn't help myself. Not Wynorski. He's gonna insert all the stock footage. You're like, you bastard! You didn't even film that.
Cam, I feel like you can help yourself. You keep saying you can't help it. I feel like you can.
Nope.
He really
still
can't
running
help
for Jason. Okay, so where are you gonna go, Morazzini? Where are you gonna go?
Where am I gonna go? I'm gonna go.
There's no
with,
chance you're gonna overvote Elm Street, but I just want to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Elm Street, despite the fact goddamn Dokken was in it, or on the soundtrack, I should say.
What? Dream Warriors is amazing.
To be honest, that's the only song I know from Dawkins. So
that's the only song.
It's their only good song, or the closest to a good song, I should say. Sorry,
he's picky on the
George Lynch sucks except for that song. That's it.
No, George Lynch had to go and form his own damn band, Lynch Mob, to get away from Don Dokken because Don Dokken sucks balls.
Don Dokken.
Wow.
And even the video for that song was great because it had Freddy in it.
Right? Don't you love how Alice Cooper's in part 6 of both these franchises too?
I didn't know.
It's a very heavy metal franchise.
Actually, what's funny, if you hear the demo version of Man Behind the Mask, it sounds almost like friggin' disco.
Who listens to the demo of Man Behind the Mask?
I didn't
People
even
who love the
that was a
song.
thing.
I don't know.
Has Jim voted yet?
Yes.
Are we there yet?
Yes. We'll get there. Who's on first? But no, that's some good trivia. I love that.
I love that nobody talks about Dokken more than in the context of this movie.
You see that Dokken film, man? It's so cool. What film?
Even Dokken isn't talking about the band as much as we are every time we bring up Nightmare.
Well, would you rather it be Winger? What's going on here? So
there's a lot of bands I could have chosen. It could have been Wasp.
Wasp, perfect.
Wasp was too busy doing films for Full Moon.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're in a bunch of Charles Band's early movies.
Yep. Gotta love it. Man has good taste in puppets and boobs. So, but we're not here to talk about Jack Death or Puppet Master. We're here to talk about part 4. And this is another one no one can agree on. So, Parker, who are you gonna call?
Not Ghostbusters.
I finally got to go to the other side. We're going to Crystal Lake, baby.
Well, no.
Crystal
You
Lake.
got to break on through to the other side.
Oh, sorry. Break on through.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
No, part 4, top 2 all time for this franchise.
Woo!
I love it. Our introduction to Tommy Jarvis.
His
yeah.
Oh,
that's not why I love this
Worst
movie.
character ever.
I'm just kidding. It's always a gladiator. Now I want to see a Gladiators Coliseum with Jason.
I love Jason in this movie. I love kind of like the whole showdown at the end. I love all the kills in this. I mean, Corey Feldman's there, before he started playing really bad guitar.
Man's a god. The man's a god.
Yeah.
That's why he's surrounded by angels.
And
I'm not going to tell you.
And we got some of the best dancing ever
Crispin Glover.
in a movie. Oh man, Crispin Glover.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just such a wild movie, and I have such a blast with it every single time.
So I guess Oreo, to save time, you also voted 13th.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Gabriel, talk to us, homie. Talk to us.
I'm gonna go Dream Master, which I know is kind of a.
It's whatever you like. Lucas, what'd you think?
Okay, well,
coin toss.
No, this one's definitely not a coin toss for me. This is the final chapter all the way. Because like I said, with the last one where DreamWorks was Freddy at his meanest. This one is obviously Jason at his meanest. He is just
obvious, yeah,
raging the entire time. Every kill is so full of rage and menace.
I think this is Joseph Zito's best hour as director, because he sees other stuff and it's very junky, but here, like, he is very surprisingly suspenseful. Like, he did another slasher in the 80s that comes on Showtime once in a while. It's The Prowler.
Yes.
I think he met stuntman Kane Hodder on that, if I'm not mistaken. He met some other effects guy, maybe Savini.
And Savini, yeah.
Okay, so he met Savini on there. And yeah. So it was just another day at the opera for him. He was ready to copy and paste, and I think he does a little better here to elevate that, yeah. So my vote's for it, too. That finale is so
where DreamWorks is the best supernatural slasher, I would say this is the best pure slasher ever made.
Hey. All right. So, Bill, not hater, we'll let you go.
Yeah. So we've got Dream Master and we've got the final chapter. I'll tell you, one of my personal pet peeves is when any sequel feels the need to introduce a child character. I don't know why. Yeah, it's just... yeah, I'm not a fan of those little things. I used to be one. I know how awful they can be.
It's not the personal. I just don't like kids.
Do you relate it to the sitcom that brings on the cute kid as soon as the ratings?
Yeah, the cousin Married with Children was 7.
The Silver Spoons edition of Friday. Perfect.
I don't know. I feel like the final chapter, in my own personal opinion, it's got a few moments, but I feel like it's just kind of a rehash of part 3. And I think it does take place like immediately after part 3. And I just feel like it doesn't have a whole lot going for it. I tell you what, it would be completely redeemed in my eye if at some point Crispin Glover had approached Jason and gone, "You take your damn hands off her." Like George McFly.
Oh, well, then we got to sneak in a David Letterman cameo by that point.
Yeah.
Jesus. Get this guy off my desk.
But my vote is going to go to Dream Master. I didn't grow up in the 80s. I'm a 90s baby, so I assume that Dream Master is an accurate representation of the mid 80s.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
We're getting some conflict here.
Sorry,
it's definitely called. It's definitely called the MTV movie for good reason. But I like it. It's stylish. It's fun. Freddy, is that the one where Freddy's in the chef outfit?
Oh God!
Yes. No, it's not.
5.
No, it's 5.
Oh, that's 5.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, okay. Well, nevertheless.
At least
nevertheless,
the one blonde gal who's in part 5. But yeah.
Nevertheless, I'm going with Dream Master on this one. One thing I do remember from part 4 that I do really love is that scene where they're like at the diner and like the scene kind of keeps repeating, where they keep kind of going into the truck.
You keep repeating.
Yeah.
Great scene.
But yeah, I'm going Freddy for this one.
Mac
barely remember shit about the Nightmare on Elm Street film, so I'm going with Final Chapter.
He was there. He just doesn't remember.
Yeah, it's just there's so much more that I remember about Final Chapter.
Jimbo, what are you thinking here?
Final Chapter.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 could have been better if Rennie Harlan had brought his A game as a director, but
I just found it so dull on this.
it was just.
It felt like
just lacking
video.
something.
It lacked balls.
Oh my God.
I didn't check in his pants, so I can't be sure.
I can't verify. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick? Question mark. What do you think?
No contest. Dream Master is slick, but it kind of bores the shit out of me. It's the wisecracky Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, he has some funny lines, even though he's scary as shit. And the fourth one, what does he say after the shark thing? Doesn't he go like surfs up or something?
Yeah, he puts his sunglasses on.
It's so lame. I couldn't
remember.
I hate that they recast the Patricia Arquette character, but they try to keep the emotional continuity. It doesn't work. It's just kind of a mediocre movie to me, and also it's like a weak retread of the third movie.
Yeah.
Right.
They even
the final chapter.
Then when they bring back the whiny guy from part 3, I'm like, no, thank you.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter is the Dream Warriors of the Jason.
Hey!
Yes, I put it at number 1. It is the distillation of all the stuff that worked before, and then it creates the stuff that's going to get imitated after. And it's everything I want out of a slasher movie.
All right, Ryan. This is kind of locked in the vote, but you can still.
Yeah, I'm going Friday the 13th on this one, except for one issue I have with the movie. The whole,
Damn it, Tommy.
You got the dog pissing scene. You got the Alice gains the powers of people. The makeup became the generic makeup for the next 3 movies for 4, 5, and 6. It just wasn't. It wasn't a Freddy movie. It's fun. You watch, you go, it's good. But like you got Tom Savini coming back for Friday the 13th 4 because he said I'd do it if I can kill the character. So he came back to do the makeup because he wanted to kill it. He didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So you got the original guy coming back to kill the thing. My only issue with
Tom's allowed to be wrong.
No, Tom's well. But my only issue with 4 is that Tommy Jarvis, who's the worst character in Friday the 13th, and we'll talk about that later.
So we're on part 5. The odd number out again. Oh my God. Gabriel, what did you think?
I'm gonna go Friday 5. It's a weird movie, but I like that it's weird. I think it's really brave to.
That's weird, man.
Let's kill our villain. Keep him dead and then replace him with an ambulance driver. Like it's
gotta happen at a camp.
Like I don't know. It's
pretty exciting, especially for a mainstream debut by a porn director, and it feels like it at times.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Nice, I love it. Mac, what you got for us?
I'm gonna go with part 5 on Friday the 13th as well.
Woo!
Despite the fact that
very heroic kid.
I hate Imposter Jason. But I do like just the kooky bunch of characters that we have at
the diner,
at this home. Yeah, and also the fact that the person who's running the I guess halfway house, he's the one that's at the beginning of Last Crusade that young River Phoenix is going up against. So
that is the fake indie. Oh my God!
I got to pop out of that.
Wow.
And just
Oreo,
that weird.
It does come around.
The weird robotic dance is a classic. Debbie Sue Voorhees is not bad on the eyes. So I enjoy this one despite the fact that it does that cheap fake Jason thing. Other than that, I got more enjoyment out of it.
They needed something to do, man. They needed something.
I get more out of it than Nightmare Part 5.
All right. So Jack, what are you thinking?
So the weird thing about part 5 is that it's kind of done a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch loop.
I like
everybody.
that movie.
Everybody hated it when it came out.
Stop it! I loved 3. I loved Halloween 3.
And that's the thing. The first time I saw Halloween 3, I was like, "This is awesome," but I saw it 10 years later. So when it came out, all the horror fans were like, "There's no Michael Myers."
Overrated, man.
And the same thing happened to part 5. But I mean, my whole thing about A New Beginning is that it's like a mean movie. It's like everybody in the cast is Jennifer Rubin from Dream Warriors. Like these kids are like they've had like these shitty lives, and then
these
they wind
damn
up,
kids.
But you know what I mean? Like they wind up in a halfway house, and they and then they get killed by imposter Jason as like their reward for trying to actually get better and rejoin society and everything.
That is true.
Now
I survived, Dad.
It's like it's a weirdly in the franchise. It's kind of the one that gets under my skin the most. It's the most weirdly disturbing because of all that.
Okay, so is that where you're going to land on that one?
I'm absolutely voting for it.
Ryan, what you thinking?
Nightmare on Elm Street 5 is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Whoa!
5. I understand the concept of Freddy being around because the kid is sleeping, but the ending literally makes no sense to me. Never been able to understand what the Freddy, teach me your thing, and then he spits a bunch of shit out at him. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Friday the 13th 5 to me was one of the last 80s slasher movies, like that real like 80s campy slasher movies. Joey gets killed by the guy with the axe, and Roy has to avenge him because that's his son. He's the EMT. And then I get why they were trying to, it's a new beginning. So they were trying to make it so that it was Roy, and then it was Tommy, the worst character in the franchise. And it was this whole, and then the inbred family where the kid's riding around his bike going, he hurt me, and then he gets decapitated, and she's
and
making
he said it exactly that way. He hurt me.
Yeah,
no, it's all good. Just
she's
like
making some kind of stew, and then she gets killed.
So Tommy is your to you what Joey is to be in Elm Street, where he's just like,
Joey didn't say a word in 3 except for no, and then
he talks a bit. I just resaw.
He's mute in the whole movie in 3.
He talks a few times like, "Come and get it," and it's just awful.
He talks in his dream.
Yeah, his dream.
Right.
Well, no, he doesn't talk in 3 at all.
No, he actually does.
I'm gonna rewatch that because as far as I remember, the reason Freddy comes out of the mirror is because Joey screams no.
That Mandela effect.
I'm talking in his final face-off where he's unleashed.
Oh yeah, you're talking about after he says no.
Right. That's
later in the movie. But that's bad too. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm just saying. So
this one Thomas stank more.
But in the next, when we get to 6, I'll explain why Tommy is the worst character ever. But
oh my god.
but this is
okay. So Oreo, you're gonna go with 13th as well.
Friday the 13th Part 5. Absolutely.
I'm gonna go with Elm Street.
Oh, nice. Well, to be fair, I also didn't care for Part 5 growing up. Now, and don't get me wrong, Part 5 of 13 is way better. This outing, I also had a lot of fun with Elm Street. Lucas, what are you thinking?
With Friday on this one as well.
It's Friday.
I'll echo a lot of what Ryan and Jack said. I think Dream Child is the worst of the Nightmare series.
No, fair enough. I get it. There's some shit in there.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. I'll give it that, but yeah, there's just a lot in there that just.
I hated it growing up, so I was very surprised on this recent rewatch where I was like, I'm having fun. I don't know why I'm having fun.
Yeah, there's just a lot there that even with Nightmare logic, and it just doesn't make sense. And
well, just you wait till we get to the next one.
Oh well, yeah, but still, even with that, and Friday 13th New Beginning has Demon, who is just an amazing character, funny as hell. The relationship that he has with Reggie, I think, is really cool. You can see that they really dig each other as brothers and all that.
Reggie.
And I was never one that minded that it was quote unquote fake Jason, because even though it's little flashes here and there, you do have the real Jason show up. And,
I mean, they didn't have anywhere much else to go for a franchise where people were wanting cheap scares. And
yeah, for sure. I mean,
I think it was 85 actually.
Really?
Yeah, 85. Yes.
Lucas, is Demon the actor from Return of the Living Dead who played Suicide in Return of the Living Dead?
I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, the guy.
Miguel Nunez Jr. Yes.
Jack, don't you know him?
Oh,
from
I'm sorry. That spider. Yeah. Because you got both of them. You got
the guy who kills.
Yep, you got both of them. Yep.
But Jack, don't you know him from all those crazy Albert Pion movies? All those crazy
of course I do.
movies.
Of course.
I know.
Of course we do.
But yeah,
I wanted to ask you, Lucas, when you said Nightmare logic, is that little N Nightmare or big N Nightmare?
I didn't think of that. That's a good question.
A loaded question.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably little N, I guess, just because it's just so much of that one is just really confusing. And
isn't it weird how you can tell the difference between like dream logic and just sloppy filmmaking?
Yeah, exactly.
It makes it easier for you to excuse it, and at the same time, it really shows its.
They try to do Nightmare logic, but it just ended up being more sloppy.
Hellraiser does better with the dreams. Phantasm does dreams better, Elm Street struggles.
as Ryan pointed out before, also it doesn't work under capital N nightmare logic either, because it just the mythology.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's some bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I never said it was a perfect movie. It's got a lot of shit in there that sucks. But
I think Pinhead would kill Freddy.
Oh yeah,
Freddy's not in part
I
10.
agree.
Jason's in part 10. Get your numbers right. Jimbo, what do you think?
Going with Friday the 13th here. By this point,
don't get me wrong. Like you guys said, the characters are just more fun.
By this point, the Nightmare franchise was in the shitter.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Five.
Again, I didn't expect to get any enjoyment on this outing. I don't know why.
No, after 4, I was kind of leery about 5, but I went anyways.
It sounds like you were forced at gunpoint. Freddy, you'll kill me if I don't see this
some of my
movie.
friends were like, "We're going," and it's like, "Okay, I guess I got to come along."
Okay,
but
dude. Super dude.
no, New Beginning had some good kills. It hit Debbie Sue. It did something. 5, Nightmare 5 was just crap.
All right. No, all good. All right. Harker.
This one is a toss-up because I don't care for either one of these movies, but
all right, so
I think just based on
Russian roulette.
I think just based on the kills and some characters that are just absolutely hilarious, I gotta go with part 5 for Friday. Like I said, I don't care for either one of these.
You're voting for the lesser of the two
I
evils.
skip 5 for both series pretty much every time, unless I have to watch it for something. Oh, this Tommy sucks. Like, I agree. Like, I'll agree with him. Like, he sucks in this movie.
Oh my
Tommy
God.
Jarvis is like,
stop it,
the worst.
He's like some like weird born again Christian guy now that like condemns that movie that he was in it.
Wow.
I think I have seen something like that, and you're like, good grief. But you took the money anyway. So
they wrote it. They wrote it for Corey Feldman. They thought he was going to come back.
Well, he shows up at the beginning.
That was in his backyard.
Flashback. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. They couldn't make it work with the Goonies schedule or something like that. I can't remember.
Damn it, Spielberg. Spielberg should have taken
He went and did a good movie.
That's a
Can you
horrible
imagine if
movie.
Spielberg had taken it up, like Gremlins started invading Freddy's mind?
By the way, you do have to go back in time and watch like Gremlins and some of those early Corey Feldman movies before he grows up to be like, oh shit, yeah, he was a really good child actor.
Yeah, like that McDonald's commercial.
Like Lucas was hitting earlier. There's nothing wrong with the talent in these movies. It's just off screen where you're just like, really, dude? You're gonna go
He's a god. He's a god.
He's your Charlie Sheen.
I saw him live. He's a god.
I saw. Let's do it live. So
fuck it, let's do it live.
Fuck it, let's do it live.
Fuck it. So Bill, to close us out, 13th is in the bag, but you can still vote.
It's Friday.
Jesus Christ, not that bitch.
Oh my God.
No, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add with this one. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 is really where it fell off the wagon. I hated the whole pregnancy storyline. It just,
don't get me wrong, that stuff is
it did nothing for me. I think Jack said earlier, overall, I think Nightmare on Elm Street is the better franchise.
Right,
But
I think a lot of us
Jack
are
said
covered
earlier, it had really high highs, but it also had a really low lows. But Friday the 13th is able to be kind of consistent for the most part. Well, I mean, we'll get to part 9 and kind of challenge that.
We started part 8 or 6 or
This
7.
is like comparing Mission Impossible to Fast and Furious. Which one is campier?
But it really is the consistency of a fast food cheeseburger.
Yes, I love it.
Right.
Burger King or Wendy's.
Right. Whereas Freddy is you're going to your favorite local restaurant, but you know that they might have a bad day.
Right. There might be rats in the kitchen. There might be a delay.
Right.
It's a really good analogy. Yeah. The best.
Should
of
come
the
over to my
Nightmare
house more
series.
often. So to save time, I guess we're going to vote Friday the 13th for part 6 all the way.
No.
Damn it.
Friday the 13th 6 is good. It's the last good Jason until Ken Kratzinger takes over.
But
this is why. Here's my problem. Why I say Tommy Jarvis is the worst character. 6 through the rest would not have happened if Tommy Jarvis didn't dig his fucking body up. It was over. It was done.
Yeah,
and
but
he
you
had to
could
go
argue
and dig the body up.
You could argue that with Ash, like without him opening the book of the
We're not talking
Necronomicon.
about Ash.
I'm just saying as a contrast,
Yes.
without the plot, as gamers say, PIS, plot-induced stupidity. Without the dumb thing that happens, you don't get all the other awesome chaos.
But you don't get. Here's the thing. The problem is you don't get awesome chaos after 6 of Friday the 13th. No offense to Lucas. I know you love the movies, but
he's giving you the death stare.
You're not wrong.
Really?
If Tommy didn't dig him up and leave the fucking pole and he gets resurrected, 7, 8, 9, and 10 would not have happened.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
You're right.
That's why
And
Tommy
also-
Jarvis is the worst character, because he causes 4 other movies, 3 of which are awful.
But then we wouldn't have got the worst part of the franchise.
But if Seth Brundle hadn't gotten to the transporter with the fly, we wouldn't have that movie.
True.
But you don't also get 4 movies that are awful after it.
Oh, okay. We'll get there.
Wait.
Hold on. One movie at a time.
You can't blame Tommy Jarvis for anything but his stupidity in the movie he's in.
But he's
only as good as his environment, Ryan.
What I'm trying to say is that you're shitting on the character for creating the inciting incident.
Yes, I'm 100% shitting on the character for creating the incident. Fuck Tommy Jarvis. He sucks.
Hey, Tommy.
The Tommy Jarvis trilogy for me is the
Don't
high
you mean
point
Tommy
of
was
that
so,
series.
Ryan? Are you sure?
Oh, yes, Tommy was so too. Yes, yeah. I have a room tattoo, by the way. This is a room tattoo. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. So
Nice.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes.
Without the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, all you got is a bunch of randos from movie after movie, and
You have 80s slasher movies, and
Right.
then Freddy vs. Jason. I'm sorry, that's a perfect. I would have picked probably Friday the 13th over.
You're
Nightmare
showing
on
your hand. All right.
Also, Tom Matthews, man. Tom
I
fucking
know.
Matthews.
Tom, stick it to him, Tom.
I like 6. I think 6 is the last of the great Friday the 13th movies, except for when he throws him in the tree and there's a little happy face. But that's not neither here nor there.
Oh, okay.
But I like 6.
The happy face bothers you, but the throwing the machete into the lens in
Wasn't
the
that,
beginning, that doesn't.
No, not at all. The happy face bothers me. And I love when the little nerdy guy goes beep and it hits him and he goes,
"Ya bang!"
Yeah. So, sidebar, Your Honor, wasn't that a reference to the happy face killer that's referenced in The Howling?
Yes, it is, but it's like.
So they
come
are
on.
part of the same universe, and that and Tremors and Gremlins. Nice.
So
everything's connected.
in
That's
this
an-
one,
that's an Easter egg,
I'm going to be the only one going
happy
Freddy
face look.
dead in this one, apparently.
All right.
That's some Pepe
Actually, I
Sylvia
think I
level
might
shit,
go with
man.
Freddy's Dead too.
All right. Wow. Okay. Sweet. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't expect to like it on this rewatch, and Jack, that was a vote from you also for Nightmare.
Oh no.
Okay.
I like Freddy's Dead, but Jason Lives is arguably the
One of
best
the
movie
best.
in the franchise. A lot of
Just-
people, that's their favorite.
It's a great movie. I have issues with it because
it's
of what
fine.
happened
I-
after.
Okay. So with Freddy's Dead, it's wild how I think Lisa Zane is a very underrated lead, as she has a perfect in-your-face attitude. I will admit the celeb cameos are bad, but it's just one scene. It is imperfect. It is uneven. It's still watchable once you get past the convoluted beginning and just go along for the ride.
Now, but I do want to make clear, even though I'm defending Freddy's Dead, I'm putting my vote for
Same.
for Friday the 13th part.
Mine is still Freddy's Dead.
All right, perfect. Lucas.
Well, obviously it's Jason Lives for me, and kind of multifaceted. Not just because it's Friday the 13th, but this movie for me was my
introduction.
Was my introduction to not just Friday the 13th, but aside from a few of the Universal horrors and stuff like that, this was the first horror movie I saw.
It was on TV a lot. Oreo, have you seen this movie, and does it get your vote?
I like, Freddy's good shit. I like that one. It's funny. It keeps on the creativity of how he kills. It's iconic for the time frame, and it has everything that stands out about it. And it has young stars in it that would go on to have future success, and that's a beautiful thing. Most of them don't get that success. They end up being chewed up and spit out.
Right. They become B-movie direct-to-video stars, unfortunately.
Or they become typecast. And that's the worst thing.
And you also get the origin of Freddy, how he became who he was.
Mm-hmm.
I love
His
that.
dad was Alice Cooper if he hadn't gotten sober.
Which is so funny. He's in both part 6s, and it does make you wonder, how did he adopt Freddy? He must have had a record.
Oreo, from what you said, I just realized that the part 6s of both are the ones where it starts to become a
The
parody.
Alice Cooper verse.
Yeah. Well, it's the Alice Cooper verse, but also it starts to become
No, you're right. It does-
self-aware. Self-aware. That's
It's
what
self-aware while still being flawed. It's a weird combo.
It's funny though, because like Freddy ends the self-awareness in this one, but Jason keeps going in it.
They're still going. It's like improv. Keep going. It's not working. Make the scene work. Make it stick, even though it's not sticking.
Yes, and.
Right.
It's like
it only dies if you set negate and say no.
Comes down, they don't put it back up.
Comes back up. Mac, which way are you going to lean on this?
This was actually kind of tough because I had a lot of fun with both films.
See, I'm so surprised. I see so many of them.
Am I in a dream? Am I actually in a dream right now? There's all this love for Freddy's Dead. This is
I love the fact that Cam started off going, I think this is the definite vote for Friday 13th Part 6.
I was surprised because I see so much shit, and most of the hate's going to Part 4 and 5. So, Parker, what's your rating?
Oh, God. Here's the thing. Part 6 is my favorite Friday movie. I love the way Jason looks. I love the kills and everything, but I have such a love for Freddy's Dead and just how goofy it is. And I feel like
so easy as it can.
It's so controversial because
no, it's not.
I have to go against my favorite of a franchise to choose a movie that I just have more fun watching.
Oh,
And Freddy's Dead, I have more fun watching.
You can put Freddy's Dead on in the background and kind of do other things. If you're watching Friday the 13th,
it's the laundry movie.
It has so many, like the flaws are there in high. Like it's the worst makeup for Freddy. This makeup is not good. It literally looks like he bought it from Spirit Halloween and they threw it on Robert Englund.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I love the gags.
Lisa
I love
Zane. Come back.
Lisa Zane, though, she's a babe. What?
She was cool. She was awesome.
Man,
she was intense.
great. And there was Yaphet Kotto's there.
Yaphet Kotto.
Yes. All right, so Jim, what do you think?
Also,
what am I thinking?
The bat with nails in it.
The bat with nails. Oh my god!
It's just Freddy's Dead's just fun. I just have a blast watching that movie.
This isn't surprised. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Jason Lives.
Whoa! Hey, nice.
I couldn't even be bothered seeing Freddy's Dead in the theater. I eventually had to rent it.
Oh,
Part 5 sucked so bad. I couldn't even be bothered to drag my ass to see Part 6 in the theater. I eventually rented it, and I should have just saved my money.
Okay, so Gabriel, what are you thinking, buddy? You surprised us this whole time.
Jason Lives. It's the best Friday. I think it's a really funny, entertaining movie. I love how the scenes with Tommy and I forget her name, but the love interest, it feels almost like a romantic.
It kind of is.
I'll give Freddy's Dead 3 things. I love the Goo Goo Dolls song that plays.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I love how Springwood is actually utilized in the movie for once. And I love the map says we're fucked. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite scenes.
The map says we're fucked.
That is a great line. I think that's actually hasn't that been sampled in like a few music songs like grunge rock or something? Okay, so this is the first tie we've had. How are we gonna split this, guys?
Freddy's Dead.
All right, I gotta go with Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, it's Freddy.
Okay, so Ryan is breaking the tie here. Okay. Awesome.
I can't believe it.
So that is going to help us.
I thought it was going to be so easy. Oh, we're all going to vote for Jason.
I thought so because I see
Part
people
6,
going.
If it wasn't the 6th
miracles,
yes.
Okay, well, so is everyone going to vote Part 7 for New Nightmare?
Oh, New Nightmare. There's not New Nightmare.
Absolutely, 100%.
Freddy, I mean, Jason looks awesome in Part 7.
No, he doesn't because he's fucking Kane Hodder at this point.
Okay, have fun with both.
And here's the moment that you guys all hate me.
I know.
I'm gonna vote for the New Blood.
He's voting for He's voting for the first verses where it was Jason versus Carrie, but it wasn't Carrie.
I'm not going to hate you for it.
Terminator, Jason versus Carrie. Okay, yeah.
This is the final.
Yeah, no, sorry, I can't
This is
defend
the
that one.
final in the original series. This is the final two parts against each other. 7 versus 7.
I know.
And
we got New Nightmare, so it's impossible.
Well, here's
New Nightmare's so good.
Yeah,
having rewatched New Nightmare recently, this is what I'm going to say. New Nightmare's reach exceeds its grasp. I think that some of the best stuff in the series is in it. And
this is the precursor to Scream.
Heather Langenkamp is amazing in it, and also finally at an age where, like, good God,
hot.
Fox, oh my God.
Great score.
It's got a great score, but having
Michael
rewatched
Hughes.
it recently, first off, a lot of the performances are so bad because the real people are playing themselves, and Bob Shea should be fucking ashamed of himself.
I thought he was fun.
Yeah.
Well, how about the
It's
fact
really
that
He's having nightmares again.
How
Oh
about
my
the first
God.
nightmare? How timely it is! How it's during an LA earthquake. That
movie
so
does
calculated.
not hold together as a story. It is.
I disagree.
It's a scattershot.
Wow.
It's
okay. What
practically
about
a sketch movie?
What about the John
The
Saxon?
graphics when she's on the highway does not hold up. I will give you.
And the second half of the movie has that great scene where he finally comes back for real in the hospital. It has that great scene, and then the whole rest of it, everything in Freddy's underworld completely falls.
The best scene in the whole movie is when he's pulling through the sheets, and she finally, I think she says finally, Freddy's name, and he rips it open.
That part's great.
Yes.
Okay, well, what about the John Saxon moment in the part where he has a line about actors' life and stalkers? I thought that was spot on.
I feel like that movie is really smart in its ideas, and when you get right down to it, and
I'll
love
give
to
you
Wes
that
Craven,
his head
What about
trying
when
to
Annie
swallow the kid
dies?
didn't age well, but I think it's overall okay. Well,
I just
so
feel like that's one of those
even
wink,
then
kind of movies.
How is this not still better than the New Blood though? But
I'll
okay,
take New Blood over Freddy.
There you go. Because I have so much fun watching the New Blood.
I would expect this from Oreo.
Jane how to ruin Jason.
I went to the New Bev and I watched the New Blood with a bunch of those people in attendance too. But there's a guy out here named Elric Kane who's a podcaster and now he's directing movies.
Get him on the show.
Elric said that was like an episode of The Facts of Life that got interrupted by Jason. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
Oh my
it is
word.
a cheesy, stupid TV show from the late 80s.
I'll give you that
gets
the
interrupted by
actress
Jason.
is good. The dad is good, even though that whole scene with him deciding, hey, I'm going to come back to life. And
Weekend at Bernie's is in that movie.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, you have to not say you have this power, but I really have this power. But you can't say you have this power, and then but you need this power to kill Jason. Okay,
it's boring. Part 7 is boring.
It's boring. And then the mask is ripped off, and he's like,
Part 7 contains
it's
one
not
of the
the
reasons
worst,
why
but it's still pretty
Part
shitty.
7
sleeping bag kill, the sleeping bag kill.
It contains one of the reasons why we love watching slasher movies, and I'll tell you why. Take this walk with me.
Titties.
From her first, well, there's that. From her first scene, this rich, bitchy girl, from her first line, we hate her. And the movie has in every scene, this girl is hateful and horrible. And she just, throughout the whole movie, she's such a snot to everybody. And she keeps fucking things up. And the movie keeps not killing her until the moment where right before there's anybody left to kill except the two main characters, that girl opens the door and gets an axe in the face and thrown into a TV set.
Oh my God.
And I would rather take that.
What?
And the fun of that.
Let me
the missed opportunities of New Nightmare.
Let me ask you this: what's more of an impactful scene? The girl you hate dying with an axe, or the babysitter that you've grown to kind of like.
Yes.
Dragged apart in the fucking hospital room across the ceiling.
Freaking Gage from Pet Cemetery is watching the whole thing.
Right. Girl, you hate getting an axe in the face any day of the week, and I'll tell you why. The scene in the hospital is just from the first fucking movie again.
It's similar, yes.
All of the call-in responses. All the call-in responses.
I think that's the point, though. I think that was
the point.
I'm just telling you that.
Okay, Jack. I love.
But the girl had telekinesis.
Okay, Jack.
Case fucking closed. She had telekinesis.
I will take.
Wow.
Case fucking closed.
Jack, I will take the cheesy fun of Friday the 13th Part 7 over
poor Cam.
So does fucking Freddy.
All right.
He's a demon. This is a girl. It's just like, I had a bad childhood and I can telekinesis shit.
Oh, no. You're right. Carrie is a terrible movie. And
that's the movie about a girl with telekinesis, a standalone movie. This is a ongoing saga about a slasher, and then all of a sudden it's like, I have an enemy now that I've never known about.
Jack, what's going on here?
You know what the whole crux of Friday the 13th is? Don't go to Camp Crystal Lake. That's it. If you don't go to Camp Crystal Lake, you don't die.
Okay,
that's it.
Well, one thing here, Jack. Okay, so I will agree to one point.
Wow.
In that New Nightmare is very boring if you watch it on TV because most of the key moments are cut out, so you don't know who died on the movie set. But the movie set thing, I think, is still freaky because, especially with now, where you're seeing even more malfunctions gone wrong that kill someone. Anyone else want to break this
movie that we give more love than it deserves because we love Wes Craven?
It's a great movie. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Lucas, where are you going to land on this?
100%. As much as I do love the New Blood, and I'll agree with Jack. The bitch getting the axe in the face is one of the most satisfying kills.
It's a good gift file.
I'm not saying it's not a satisfying kill either.
New Nightmare was it was very innovative. Wes Craven, like someone else already said, it was the precursor to Scream for Wes Craven. It's where he jumped off with the whole
break the fourth wall in order to fight him. You got to make another movie.
Yeah, exactly. So
Gabriel,
New
Jim,
Nightmare.
Bill, Mac.
Yeah, New Nightmare. I love the Scream foreshadowing.
Oh, stop it. All right,
and Jack, I got nothing but love for you, but even the fucking Friday the 13th guy is saying New Nightmare here.
I watched it recently. I just don't think it works.
Were you awake when you were watching it? Or?
Oh my god!
Did you watch?
Jack, I got nothing but love for you. You know that. Come on. But it's such an innovative movie that just opened up new barriers to other movies.
I'll get you, Jack, that they could have fought Freddy a different way, but
no,
they could have killed him a different way.
Ryan, you're being Twitter right now. You need to stop it. You're being Twitter.
Sorry,
don't you mean X? No. I have respect for all of that.
Being a Star Wars fan.
He's being a Star Wars fan. You're really going there.
All the ideas that you're talking about. Like I really have. Also, Wes Craven was a guy who really put his heart into horror movies, and I really love that too. But the last time I watched it, it's not even that I couldn't get into it. It's that throughout the entire movie, the mythology felt sloppy in a way where it kept redefining itself in every scene in a way where it didn't lead anywhere for me. I feel like it's a scattered shot of ideas rather than a cohesive story in which there are stakes. I don't buy half of it because I don't buy the performances. The kid, Miko
Hughes sucks.
He sucks.
He's awful
in that movie.
I loved him in this.
Wow.
Okay,
I'm a Star Wars fan.
Okay,
what I love about
he had annoying lines, but he's good in Mercury.
When he's on top, I actually just references my friend where he's on top of the thing. He's like, I was trying to reach God. Like
I just have this hard time with the people acting like themselves in real life in a way that like is really convincing when they're being themselves. And then as soon as they're in a horror movie, they start to act like people in a horror movie in a way where it's like, I bought Robert Englund out of makeup at the talk show and I love that scene. But when he's doing the painting and saying, I'm looking at him saying like, it all just feels so wanky to me.
There's a deleted scene about that.
No, I don't.
he thought that there was a scene where he had a dream where he was in a spider web or something. I don't remember the exact where he's in a spider web and Freddy's about to kill him. And that's why he disappears, where she can't get in touch with him anymore. Because he leaves. Hughes sucks.
So, I feel like the movie probably got its budget cut at some point too, because I really think the effects are halfway there throughout the movie.
The idea though, like when John Saxon starts calling her Heather or Nancy, and he's like, "Why
that's kind of cool."
Nancy?
Yeah.
Like when it turns into the movie.
You enjoy the movie, but what I'm getting is it seems like some of the technical stuff didn't hold up for you, and
it's not even that, Cam. It's that it doesn't become a cohesive experience for me.
It's not my Freddy Krueger anymore.
Oh, he's got five blades.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's what I'm harping on. No,
I don't like it anymore. It's offensive. It needs to be canceled.
I just don't think it works as a movie. I'm watching.
I did hate it when it first came out because I did not like the five blades. I mean, then I watch it as an adult and I go, okay, it's a new Freddy. I get it.
Well, it's technically not even Freddy.
No,
right? It's whatever that demon is. But the whole thing with the glove, this always bothered me. The glove in the poster and the glove in the opening scene, that super metal glove. That shit looks awesome. And then as soon as it becomes that weird like foam latex like glove that's twice as big as his hand, and
how about the fact that the reporters are so believable? The reporters are so believable. Often in a movie, it gets broken because you don't believe what the reporters are acting like real reporters.
I think it's got great scenes in a movie that doesn't work. I truly despise the head nurse being like, I'm still being horrible way past the point of any reasonable person, but I'm doing it because that's what that character
actually
serve in the plot.
What you're saying is that's basically an homage to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah,
Nurse Ratched.
But you know what that movie does not have?
What does it not have?
Doesn't have
girl with a girl telekinesis.
Oh my god, a girl with telekinesis.
Okay, so it sounds like you enjoy the movie.
What a horrible idea.
So basically what I'm getting is we've overrated New Nightmare for you.
No, it's what it really is
we can't have a girl with telekinesis. It's offensive.
Given the choice, it's Saturday night. I want to throw in a fun horror flick. I
want to turn into Twitter.
I'm gonna enjoy Friday 7 and the cheesy fun of that more than I'm gonna enjoy what I think is the kind of half-baked but innovative for sure, inspired maybe, but I don't think that movie is.
I never liked horror
in an effective way.
Well, New Blood is what you put on. New Blood is what you put on if you're doing something and you want to watch a horror movie. New Nightmare is what you put on if you want to watch a horror movie. That's my opinion. I'm not going to speak for anybody here. That's just my opinion.
You could honestly say that the later installments of every popular horror franchise are bad in their own separate ways, and they're good in their separate ways.
Everything past Halloween 1 except for 3 is garbage. But that's just
are we talking about relativism? I'm trying to.
I can kill telekinesis. I don't know. So we got to move on, guys. Otherwise, it's going to be 5 more hours. So I love this.
Yeah,
no,
I made my case.
We've all stood. We're all sinking on our own ships. That's great. I love it. So
I'm floating good. Fuck you.
So yeah, you say that now, Jack, on Titanic. So
hold me, Rose.
You guys are going to love this.
What the hell are we going to do about 8, 9, and 10?
I will do that for you. It's simply coming down. Does it rock? Or does it not? Does part 8 in Manhattan? I don't have an issue with how he looks as a baby or anything. I think it's just keeping interest. Unless you're like a completist, you're not really going to seek this one out.
Jason. 3 different boy Jasons in this one. 3.
I'm talking about the one in the final end.
There's Swampy Boy. There's Clayface.
Okay, so this is why we don't do so bad.
Does turn you into a little boy.
Okay.
How do you get from a lake? How do you get a boat out from a lake to a waterway that brings you to Manhattan?
I'm going to say that Carrie
a river, a canal.
It's called a motor.
A motor? Land?
All right, so
it's called paddles and tugboats.
Oh my!
This is how you do it, Ryan. You shoot it in Vancouver.
That's okay. There you go.
See, but there's a lot of sounds, movies and shows in Canada, and Canada plays a part in so many of these later movies. Anyway, so Bill.
Fucking maple syrup.
Stop it, you. So does this movie rock or not?
Not.
I think I can sum up how I feel about it. If you'll allow me to self-promote for just a moment, I wrote a short story called Terror at Blood Lake, which is about a camp killer that's legally distinct from Jason Voorhees. But
oh my god!
Called
Jason
Voorhees.
The concept of the story is that Meathead, the one who's definitely not Jason Voorhees, is kind of going through a midlife crisis and wondering
there's
if
others of him.
it's still right for him. And he's thinking about all of his past adventures. And there's a sentence I put into the story where I put, "The less said about his trip to Brooklyn, the better."
Well, so to quote so what you're saying is you just summed it up. What is essentially the theme song for the TV show The Pretender. There are pretenders among us.
Right. I think the best
It's not
thing to
Jason.
come out
There's
of
other
that
Jasons.
movie is,
just like Jason X.
I think the best thing to come out of that movie is when Kane Hodder went on Arsenio Hall as Jason.
Oh, okay. Hey, so
I
bad
think the
movies
best thing
have...
that came out of the movie was that Kane Hodder was. Oh no, he was in that movie. That's right. Never mind.
Right. So
no good thing that came out of that movie.
There's a lot of good things that come out of bad movies. There's great music soundtracks. There's video games. Everything. So I take it, Parker, Ryan, Lucas, Jack, you're no go on this one. Okay. That's all I need. Oreo, are you going to be the only dissenting vote?
I'm going to go with Freddy.
There was no Freddy
There's
movie.
no Freddy Part 8, and you know that. Come
What?
on.
There's no Part 8 for Freddy?
Oh my god, you haven't even seen this one.
No, I'm serious. I didn't know how many installments of Freddy there were.
I mean, if you want to count Freddy vs. Jason, that's 8. But...
Okay, so again, the versus one we're going to count as two separate ones. If it's a good Freddy or a good Jason, and if it's a good or bad movie.
That's fair.
So,
all right, so
otherwise,
you want to go to New Nightmares at this point?
All right, so
Gabriel. I'd like to add real quick because nobody's mentioned it yet, and I will say this about Jason Takes Manhattan: the worst final girl ever.
Oh, which one? Yes. Kelly who or the other gal?
I don't remember the actress name, but the character's name is Rennie. She is
okay. Yeah, Kelly's the one who gets strangled on the boat.
Yeah.
And here's the question I have about that movie. And I agree with you 100%. He walks by the punks. He kicks their boombox. Which, if you know,
somebody had to do it.
Yeah, if you're you younger folks, that's a big stereo with 2 speakers that you put a cassette tape in.
Yeah.
And they go, "Yo, bro," and they get their little fucking switchblade knife, and he just turns around and flips his mask up, and they go, "Never mind. This is not Jason. He's supposed to kill them."
Oh
and apparently, according to Kane Hodder, in this movie, they said you should do this. He goes, "No, Jason wouldn't do that." It's like, fuck you, Kane Hodder. You fuck you.
He was going to kill them.
So traumatized.
He was going to kill them, and then
hate Kane Hodder.
Spock did the Vulcan nerve pinch, and that right because we're doing punks with
there you
boombox
go.
stereotypes.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
That kept it from happening.
Jim, Gabriel, Mac, sound off.
It does not.
It does not rock.
It doesn't work for me, brother.
Brother, this is what it needed. It needs some wrestlers.
Brother,
it doesn't work for me, brother.
So that's hell no from everyone, save for Oreo with a not applicable. But
sorry, I haven't seen it. So
who's the one that hasn't seen it? Oreo hasn't seen it.
Oreo has not haven't seen it. You had one job. Anyway,
let's go to hell.
Yep, let's fucking go to hell. Does it rock?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, hold on one at a time.
I'm a worm. I go in your mouth. I go in your vagina. I go wherever I want, and then and then he pulls my mask down. So that's cool.
Okay,
and Jason is not a Deadite. No,
he's not. Oh yeah, that's true. They do have the fucking Book of the Dead in that.
I mean, even if he's not a Deadite, it's still the Evil Dead verse. Okay, so one at a time.
Who's that terrific actor who plays Creighton Duke? He was on 21 Jump Street?
Yeah, Stephen Williams. Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah. Okay,
everything else about that movie sucks.
Okay, so everybody is pretty much saying no, or
no.
Yes. Okay, so Lucas and I like this as a hidden type movie. Everyone else is going. Who else is?
It's not even fun to watch.
I had fun. Anyway, so it's trash. It's a B movie. What do you expect? Anyway, so who else said yes?
Yes, I'll take it. Fuck it.
And you have actually seen it.
Nope, I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, you know that doesn't work this way.
I don't care. Fuck it.
No, I'm the one collecting the votes. Okay,
guys,
who
let's
else
go to
said
space.
yes? Who else said yes?
I said yes.
Okay, Parker. Or no, Jim.
No, hell no.
Oh, who said yes?
I did.
It's okay. Yes, Lucas said yes. Jim said yes.
Are we on Jason X or are we still on 9?
I'm on Goes to Hell. We'll go.
Goes to Hell.
Jason X is the best Voorhees film ever.
Oh my god, one at a time. So Jim said yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Lucas said yes.
If
said yes,
Jason
I
Goes
said
to
yes.
Hell had been made without being a Jason film,
It's
it would have been a hit.
Again, it's a fun body
that would've been a
snatchers,
fun movie,
the
yeah.
hidden type movie. Okay,
The whole fact that he's a demon that goes from body to body, it's
it's fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. Okay, so either way, it was all in vain. It's still there's too many defecting no's. So let's go to Jason X.
Yay,
Does
the best
Jason
film
X
ever.
work?
We went from a
Yes.
Cronenberg ripoff to a movie that has Cronenberg in it.
Because it was directed by his protege. Yes.
And it ties into Nightbreed.
And it's
Oh
based
my
on a
lord.
Mad TV sketch.
You're right. We're gonna go to hell. Yeah. Okay, so you didn't like this one, Oreo?
I loved it. I like this one.
It had a
It's
2.5
corny
out of 5 stars. How did you like this?
because there's so much about it. Like if you look at the time frame that came out
Okay.
and what came
I'm just
out
confused
around
by
it.
your letterbox. Okay.
Yeah, just go by my letterbox. It's easy.
Did you actually see this one, or?
Yeah, I did. I watched it a few times.
I'm confused by Letterboxd in general. So
Yes.
Aw.
I think we're confused by Jason X in general. Okay, so again, even if it's
Yes.
you don't think it's a good movie, were you entertained by it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Jack, what are you thinking about this Terminator Aliens in Space? All right, yeah. So I love this movie. I know that it's more fun as a species type movie, but whatever. You know, you get what you paid for.
every Friday the 13th movie has a weird doppelganger, and I feel like Jason X is the call and response with Jason Lives. So it's like 6 and X. And I
love
feel like, yeah.
a great music score.
sense, yeah.
It's so funny how there's some references even to Solaris. They call their guns BFGs after Doom. It's basically Leprechaun 4 and Star Trek on steroids. The Microsoft conflict
There's the one
line.
gentleman who would go on to be in Dead Space. I can't think of the gentleman's name, but yeah.
There was a guy in there, Andromeda from Andromeda's on here. There's it's shameless junk food, but you gotta admit the Microsoft conflict line that is up there with the Burger King Taco Bell franchise war and demolition, man.
And hockey is outlawed this year too.
If they
right,
had
2254. Yeah.
If they had not spoiled Uber Jason in all the advertising, that would have been so great.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Yeah. Oh man.
I would see it on TV Guide, and I was freaked out. I'm like, hey, this might be the worst rated movie of all time, but it's one of the highest rentals this year. I gotta see this. It's morbid curiosity. It's
All right,
actually
guys.
fun seeing on sci-fi.
I got some head continuity to lay on you guys. Now,
Till the girl comes back.
Jason gets drowned in toxic waste in Manhattan and dissolves or something. And this is my theory.
Okay.
Him as a little boy at the very end of 8, and then all of Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X are just the hell hallucinations he's having in between the end of Takes Manhattan and the beginning
Jack.
of Freddy
What
vs.
the sci-fi
Jason.
guy you are. Those are mirror universes.
But guess
in the same way that Freddy vs. Jason
Those were nightmares
opens-
Freddy inflicted on him. Okay.
in the same way that Freddy vs. Jason opens with that sequence where Jason thinks he's stalking a girl in Crystal Lake, I think when you're in hell, you have these weird hell dreams.
Oh, okay.
You know, I
Then
think
why would Freddy bring his mask down to hell?
Because he's really the
Because
toxic
that's-
Avenger.
I know you
Because
guys hate that he's called a deadite, but aren't deadites and zombies the same thing? Demons?
I'm
He
just
was
saying,
not a deadite though.
Pandarian demons and not zombies.
Oh my
You either
God.
have to say there's no continuity like the Godzilla movies from the millennium, or the continuity is we're watching the death fever dream of Jason in parts 9 and 10.
Well, that's a good
Or
contrast. He
from
basically is Godzilla here.
7 on.
All right.
Like he comes back in 6, he gets killed. Then it's like everything from there on.
Many deaths of Jason. All right, so Bill.
Oh, but that's why, Ryan. That's why, because he dies in Manhattan, not Crystal Lake.
Wait, what?
That's the first. That's the first time he hasn't been able to just
Freddy
come back the way he usually
invites
does.
him to hell in 9.
But in this one, he needs Freddy to bring him back because he died in New York. Like, so
why don't we just agree that he just left Crystal Lake in part 6? Anyway, no, I love it. I like how we're trying to resolve it, but that's the problem. We can't. It's just kind of like trying to make sense of Tommy Wiseau's The Room. It doesn't want to be solved. It's a David Lynch movie we won't solve. You know,
and you're tearing me apart.
You're tearing me apart. Bill, what did you think of this?
I'll say it rocks. Unlike Manhattan, it at least delivers on its promise to say that
Roll
Jason
Tide.
does go to space.
He fucking goes to space. Mac.
I love this movie.
Love it too. Gabe, what are you thinking, buddy?
It rocks. Yeah, it's pretty.
All right, Ryan Parker, is that
it's a popcorn movie. You put it on, you watch it, you have a good time, you watch the girl's face get frozen in cryogenics, whatever, and then she gets smashed. It's a movie. I don't love it, but I'm not going to turn it off if it's on.
It's like self-aware of its dumbness, and I like how the corporation guy gets killed.
It's a fun movie because it's so
watchable despite everyone doing dumb things.
And the fact that the kid is fucking a robot.
Yeah,
that they don't even really kind of.
He was such a badass. He's talking like
they
Data
reference that he's like doing her, but it's like, dude, the guy's fucking a robot.
So it's like Westworld,
I'll give it a thumbs up just because it's a fun movie to watch.
And there's no kinetic girl in it either.
I mean, to be fair, Jason was basically the Terminator in 6 and 7. All right, so Jim, what are you thinking?
Oh yeah, it rocks.
Okay.
I mean, technically, Jason is the Terminator in his whole fucking
that's what
universe.
I'm saying. Since part 6, yeah.
Well, no, like everything.
7.
Because he tried to kill him, and he keeps coming back, just like Michael Myers.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. But he's more Terminator than Myers at this point.
Yeah.
Lucas, what do you think, buddy?
Just one scene where Jason, before he kills someone, just goes "Hasta la vista, baby."
He speaks. All right, Lucas, what are you thinking?
This movie fucking rocks. I love it. Fucking love it. I saw it 4 times in the theaters, and I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it since then. I've probably seen it the most of all of them, except for part 6.
Well, much like Elm Street 6, you'd be surprised at what people who I think would love this really didn't enjoy it, and vice versa. People who like it are like the last people I expect. Like, I don't know why it's so cryptic. This is Friday the 13th, for God's sakes. Have fun.
There's a lot of it that's silly, but at the same point, Jason's he's like a T-Rex in this. He's just a badass.
It's not really Forbidden
cool
Planet,
kills.
but it's not trying to be. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
it's like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. That's so underrated.
It's so funny because it was on there a lot, and it's always so funny what violence would get through and which ones they would cut out.
Mm-hmm.
They smashed him, but you didn't see the after cut. Alrighty, so we're at the Versus movie.
Oh
So
boy,
it's gonna be fun splitting it up. Okay, so
I like that movie. I wish the deleted scenes had been left in.
I agree wholeheartedly. And the
She should have shown her
is really
tits
awesome.
too.
Oh, it did, but the soundtrack is awesome. Obviously, some of Kelly Rowland's disses at the end aren't so PC in today's world.
I have a story about that shit. Actually, my friend did not like her at all because there was an interracial kiss and he's racist, and I'm like, dude, who fucking cares? He's like, each and every black girl and big fucking deal, dude.
It's such a fast-paced Versus movie. I see some people who hate it based on who actually won. I'm like, that's not how Versus movies work.
Nobody knows who won.
It's a Freddy movie.
Right. It's
Jason's just there. He doesn't do a lot.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
It's more of a nightmare movie.
My friend despises this movie for one. And now I love this movie. I've seen it 15 times in the theater.
Nice.
Like I love this movie. My friend despises it for one reason. It's so irrational. My co-host Vinny, because in the
not your cousin.
He despises it for one reason. And it's in the trailer. Monica Karina,
Monica Keena, yeah.
who I'm friends with on Facebook and Instagram.
She's so cool.
She's so hot and she's so cool. But in the trailer, she has a line that's not in the movie where she goes, "Freddy vs. Jason, take your bets." And my friend despises this movie because of that line. That's not even in the fucking movie.
It's a trailer.
God.
Yeah. It's like basing Deadpool off the trailer. Oh my
If I text my co-host right now and say, "Do you like Freddy vs. Jason?" He go, "Freddy vs. Jason, take your bets. Fuck you." That will be his response.
Wow.
Sure, man.
Like, and he likes the movie because we saw it about 4 or 5 times together, but he hates that line.
Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, so since you're on the spot right here, is it a good Friday the 13th movie or a good Elm Street movie?
Me?
Ooh.
Yes, right.
Friday the 13th movie. Excuse me, Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Okay, so it's a good Freddy movie. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And is it a good movie?
It's a fantastic movie. I fucking love it. It's top 3 of my favorite Freddy
Straightforward
movies.
approach, good score. Okay. Lucas, you thought it was a good Jason movie, and is it good or bad?
No, I'm on the Nightmare. It's
perfect.
A Nightmare movie.
Okay, I heard someone say all right. And it rolls. Okay, cool. I can't blame it. I know some people hate the Rock score, but hey, that was just how every movie was back then.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know I'm sorry to interrupt if I'm cutting anybody off.
It's fine.
Do you know what two of the original scripts actually were for this movie?
Hellraiser versus them, and then there was
there was one with there was one that was Freddy was a camp counselor or janitor at Camp Crystal Lake.
Oh, I love that.
Molested Jason.
Yes.
And then Jason's actual thing is that he's coming back for Freddy.
Oh,
and then the other thing is the original script for Freddy's Dead or Freddy 7, it might have been, was Peter Jackson, where Freddy
he's a big guy.
weakened and everybody had to come. We're fucking with him in his dreams. And somebody accidentally dies, and then Freddy starts getting power because people start talking about him again. So they incorporated that into this script.
Oh, you should have gotten a special thanks.
I believe that's an alternate universe part 6.
It might have been. It was 6, or they're going to do a 7 where that was the same thing. It was one of the two.
To your point, since they did since the guy who greenlit it at New Line oversaw the comic book with Ash crossover, they should adapt that unused idea.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like I think
a comic. Yeah,
Jack, you might have been right. It might have been 6 where it was like he had no power and people were going like literally taking sleeping pills to go into the dreams to fuck with Freddy. And then when somebody actually died, he started getting power because they started talking about him. So they incorporated that storyline into Freddy vs. Jason, which I fucking loved.
Well, and to be fair, I think the reason this works so well as a versus movie, you don't have to have seen either. Like they fill in the gaps with, Jason's mom complaining at him in his visions.
Okay,
except for the fact that he's afraid of water.
Because look at all the different crossovers that happen in comics. For instance, AVP versus Terminator. It works as a comic. I don't think it would have worked as a movie, for instance, even though I would love to have seen them fight on screen.
So my buddy went to the theater with his young nephew around the time the movie was coming out. And a trailer for Freddy vs. Jason came up, and the nephew is like staring at the trailer the whole time.
He wants to see it.
And then the title comes up at the end, and his nephew's like maybe 9, and the title comes up at the end, and the kid bursts out laughing. And my friend Chris looks at him and says, "What is so funny?" And his nephew says, "Freddy versus Jason? I guess Dave versus Steve was taken."
Oh.
So for this kid with no frame of reference, a horror movie called Freddy versus Jason? It just completely went over his head.
It's funny because after Jason Goes to Hell comes out with the glove, I went online and, internet was new at the time.
Oh my goodness.
And I read every fucking script,
everything that got leaked.
Everything they had on it, every storyline they had. And I was so obsessed with it. I was like, because Freddy's my favorite. And I'm just like, I'm obsessed with it. I need to know.
Fun fact. I was taking an SAT one time and people were sneaking that in on their computer, laptop. And I was like, are we allowed to be watching R-rated movies here? The teacher's like, I don't care. You can't hear anything.
I remember the movie came out August, I want to say 15th of 2004.
3. Oh, 3, yeah. So, I mean,
3.
But
whatever
then
it was,
started all the versus movies, like Bo versus Python.
amongst others.
Prague versus Super Gator. Yeah.
And I went on a cruise, and I'm like, I need to make sure I'm back to see this movie in the theater. I went to Sea Caucus theaters in Sea Caucus, New Jersey, like 10 a.m. to see this movie. And then I went back the next day, and I saw it 15 times in the theater. I was so fucking happy with how this movie came out. And I didn't care if Jason won or Freddy won. I just loved the movie because I think they did so much justice to both franchises. Like
I'm glad you're saying
that. Back there, there's a poster. It's one of it's top.
I'm glad
3.
you're saying that because I knew a snob on a podcast who I unfortunately used to work with, and she hated this. She thought it was a terrible Freddy movie. I'm like,
well, she's a fucking dumb cunt. Then I'm sorry.
Well, you are accurate. She is a hypocrite who talks shit about people and then does the same thing. So, but it was one of those. I'm like, you're really thinking this is a bad Freddy movie? I mean, he is chewing the scenery in this. Yes, Jason has some cool fights. It's a cool action movie also, but it's like
it's a blend.
It's so much about his mythology too.
When he can't kill the guy in the street and he goes, not strong enough yet. It's like, dude, like he hires quote unquote Jason to kill people so people know about Freddy.
Yeah.
It's like
it's an ego. It's like a celebrity playing tricks on another unethical celebrity, It's
a Tom Cruise movie.
It's a Scientology recruitment. There you go. Freddy invades Tom Cruise.
Oh God.
Okay, so Jack and Lucas and Ryan, they're saying good Elm Street movie and good movie. Is that where we're going?
Oh, I haven't
amazing movie
spoken up yet.
I thought you did. Okay, go.
But I do have to
go.
Not to start another fight with Ryan.
No fights. No fights. We're all friends here. We're all friends.
I'm on the fence about the movie overall, and I think it's.
Fuck you! What? No, I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
I think it's a better Nightmare movie than a Friday the 13th movie. If we're voting,
I said too.
The atmosphere of it and all that stuff, but I kind of feel like Freddy's underserved by it a little bit. When I watch it, I'm frustrated at how few kills he gets, and but I mean,
oh no!
But I love
Jason had to have more
Robert
fun.
Englund's performance as Freddy in this one in particular. He is such relish and gusto without ever becoming the Don Rickles.
The fact that they tried to blend both universes and what a nightmare that was behind the scenes. No pun.
And the fact that he only has one kill, it actually they build the lore of Freddy so well, but they do it with Jason killing people.
No, I listen, and that central conceit is pretty interesting to me. Also, that idea of Freddy as puppet master to Jason, that feels right. He's the smart one, and then the idea that Jason is the Frankenstein's monster who tries to kill the creator, basically. Like,
well, and the fact that the
there's a bunch of shit to like about the movie,
and the characters are running while they're talking. We're not wasting
one flaw in the
time
movie.
seeing them die.
There's one flaw in the movie. One flaw. Jason's scared of water. That's the only flaw in the whole entire movie because...
Okay, now that I can answer for you. He was playing too much Grand Theft Auto. For those that don't know, the characters can't swim in water until recent updates and sequels. Sorry, I actually don't know the reason why. I think... To be fair, he's traumatized from drowning all these years.
Yeah, but there's other scenes where Jason's in water.
I know.
Lives in the water, basically.
I know.
So that's to me, that's the only flaw in
it's like, again,
perfect movie.
It's like in a Godzilla movie, how he's susceptible to this, and then in another movie, that has no impact on me.
If we're voting for if this is a better Nightmare movie or this is a better Friday movie, I'd say Nightmare movie for sure.
All right.
Put my vote in that column.
But is it a good movie?
Great.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of.
All right. I'm gonna give you a.
I'm answering for Jack. It's a great movie.
In a weird way, it feels kind of like it kind of feels like a cover concert, where it's like you're just going through a lot of the beats of the previous movies, but through the filter of that era's horror movie. Like, I like the production design. I kind of don't like the cinematography. It's just there's a bunch of
little dark at times, but hey.
I'd rather go back and watch the vintage stuff than watch Freddy vs. Jason. Honestly.
All right, so good Elm Street movie, disappointing movie. Okay, Parker.
It's a good Elm Street movie because Jason kills a lot of people, but he does. I mean, that's kind of
he's not the focus, and
it's
when Freddy's in it, he needs to be kind of.
Freddy's using him as a pawn. So it's a better Elm Street movie.
Jason X was a better recent Jason movie.
Yeah. But it's a good movie. I've always enjoyed watching this movie. It's not great, but it's good. It's entertaining. It's fun.
It didn't try to do anything else. I mean, it's by the director of Bride of Chucky, and
it definitely shows its age. So
yeah,
but it's still a good time.
I saw an interview with the director, Ronnie Wu.
Yes.
Yeah, Ronnie Yu.
Ronnie Yu. Yep.
And he said, I don't want
confused with PU.
Yeah. He said, I don't want gallons of blood. I want buckets of blood. I was like, all right.
There's a reason
I saw the movie. I was like, all right.
Green lighting this. Yeah. All right. So, Oreo. Where do you land?
It's a good movie, but it feels more. I mean, yeah, it's more of a nightmare film because he's brought.
He's
Jason
doing the nightmares on Jason, yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like, that's what
And
makes it unique.
I gotta also hand it to him. It never stops being fun. And this has
Yeah.
traumatic material. You know, it never gets to that point where you're like, oh, it's okay. But, you know, it was never the overhyped movie. And it was never, oh, this is just too much grim fun. You know, it's like,
And there's a lot of callbacks in it with the hypnosil and all.
Was that the same actress who played his mother in the original Friday?
No, that wasn't Nancy Palmer. No.
No, it is not.
Okay, no, I'm just wondering.
She was dead by this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's the callbacks with the hypnosil and the asylum and all that. Like, I loved
Yes.
all that.
And we don't have any outside law enforcement. It's just these teens, and they're learning, and they're not worried about fucking. They're worried about surviving. You know?
We're not horny now. We're gonna fight for our lives.
We want to learn about this
And
evil.
you get that fun Freddy with the stoner kid, and he turns into the worm. Like, so you get the fun elements of Freddy, but you get the scary parts of Jason. So I in my opinion, anybody please disagree with me. I just feel like
I do.
Oh my word!
You get the best elements of both franchises because you get the
Right.
scary Jason.
Well,
and
that's
you
why I
get
had to
the fun,
split the
scary
vote.
Freddy.
'Cause this is what determines.
Oh,
everyone's
I
liking.
just remembered the one Jason thing I love. Jason on fire in that fucking cornfield.
Oh my god! Come on, corn poke! And he fucking
Well, and kudos to the. This did get nominated for a Tourist World Stunt Award, especially for the guy playing Freddy when
the
he's
longest fire stunt.
So that was what I mainly remembered all these times, all these years seeing it, on TV. It was just, I mean, it was in the trailers everywhere. And I was like, what? Freddy on fire? How's that possible?
That cornfield scene though is almost up there with the pool scene too.
Hey,
it's pretty fucking good.
It's what you remember, man. It's
also as cheesy as it is. I love the line reading on, and that goalie was pissed about something.
Yes.
The fact that he just underplays that line.
And then Freddy possesses him.
He
And you kinda like it, so you're gonna call back to 2 where he's possessing somebody. Like, there's just so many throwbacks and callbacks in for both franchises.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it, dude, because I see so many. They hated this one, and if it wasn't who won, it was just like the style. I'm like, well, we're talking about a modern movie here. We're not in the 80s anymore.
You know why there wasn't a sequel, right?
Money.
No,
I thought
because
it
Blade
grossed a
3.
shit ton. What? Blade
So,
sunk this
there's a-
franchise?
There's a video online of Robert Englund. I think he's on Conan, and he's asking him a bunch of questions about the movie. And Robert Englund leans over, and they subtitle, and it says there's going to be a sequel. But because Blade 3 did not do well in the box office, they canceled sequels, and they did not do the sequel to Freddy vs. Jason.
And then New Line went bankrupt. Like
Right. Yes,
New
because
Line
of
was
Blade 3.
New Line was printing money because of Lord of the Rings, and then went bankrupt, and all of that shit had like an avalanche effect.
Oh my goodness! They should have done a trilogy.
And it
of
started
versus-
with Blade 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
They should have crossed it over. It would have made money. Blade versus Jason versus whatever.
Well, the second one was supposed to have either Ash or Michael Myers or
Right, I know.
Pinhead.
Yeah. It would have. I would have seen.
It's funny because New Line buying Jason in the first place was sort of the original Disney buying Fox, or
right?
Yeah,
they bought Jason to do Freddy
Warner
versus
Brothers
Jason.
is still in the red apparently from their budget spending. Yeah.
It was in development hell that long that right around part 7, right around New Blood, they were thinking Freddy versus Jason, and it was in development for that long. If you follow the history of all the alternate scripts and all the writers that took a crack at
that
it,
far back,
all the different directors who were attached to it, it is one of the longest development hells in history.
That's where the scripts were where he was a camp counselor or janitor.
I know the guys who are credited with the script said it was like their 5th draft, and they were just so burned out by that.
The 5th draft, yeah.
It was just like it shouldn't be this hard to get them together. It's fine.
Isn't that the same screenwriting team who went to do the Platinum Dunes Friday the 13th?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think they worked on that. They've done a lot of other slasher tributes, and they've appeared in a lot of the famous documentaries that have come out since. But man, jeez, people need to just be grateful once in a while when something actually happens. Instead of just
look up Robert Englund on Cohen. I think it's Cohen.
I promise I will.
And he leans over and he goes, "There's going to be a sequel." And then Blade 3 came out and it ruined all of it.
What about Freddy versus Jason versus Conan? Fuck, that can't happen. He's got all his magical wigs and all that. Okay, Jim, where you land on this, homie? We're almost done.
Oh, it's more like Nightmare on Elm Street with Jason guest starring.
I love that. All that was missing was it was set on Amityville.
Oh Jesus! Don't say that. It'll
know,
be a Tubi original next month.
Jim and I did a episode where we were talking about all the endless Amityville movies. And
Amityville, the house that's like 3 miles from my house.
Children of the Corn. Where do you start? Oh, you're nearby that place? Wow.
The house was in Tom's River. I'm in Brick.
Oh,
that's
my
right by my house.
Tom's River.
Yeah.
Oh, I get library books from them. Nice. Yeah, I use OCLC and I reserve books from all over.
He's in Maryland.
States. Yeah, and I've
Jack,
gotten
Oriole's the real life homicide life on the street.
Like the actual house was in Haddonfield, Long Island, but like they filmed it in Tom's River.
Oh my word! All right, so Jim, is it a good movie or a disappointment?
It's okay.
Okay. So it's a 3 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gabe, speak to me, baby. Speak to me.
I like it. It's definitely a good Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I think Jason doesn't really have a character, if we're being honest. So it's a good thing they focused on Freddy, because I know in the original script, or well, one of the original scripts, Jason talked, and he
Jason
said,
talks to hell.
He said, like, love, no love.
Couldn't exist.
Logan in the 90s. I think that would have worked. Glad they
speak more like Beeper from.
He spoke. He's like, "I'm Jason.
I'm Jason. You're ready to die." Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Nah, that sounds more like Worf the dog. Not Worf. Oh,
Barf.
Barf the dog.
Barf.
I would like to
Jesus,
see
man.
Worf fight.
Oh, God, Worf versus Barf.
By the way,
this is a good day to die.
Barf's not a dog; he's a Mog.
He's a Mog.
He's his own best friend.
Yeah,
I am son of Mog.
Actually, since he's a Mog, if you combine it with Gremlins, he's a Mugwai.
Oh, it does all come back to Gremlins. I love it, man.
Guys, the jury's out whether this episode is going to be as long as Crystal Lake Memories.
We're going to split it up
or as long as Never
moments.
Sleep Again. So are we
that one was pretty long.
That one was like 7 hours.
We're gonna wrap up after this one, but
I'm friends with Leslie Dean, by the way, and she's gonna come on our show one day. So
nice.
Hey, dude. But yeah, we got like 2 extra questions, and we'll speak for those. But okay, so Gabe, you think it's a good movie or a lesser movie?
Yeah, it's a good movie. I like it.
Fun. Right.
The soundtrack's great.
Yep, El Nino does the end credit song.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going to split it.
Mark Rizzo from El Nino. So,
but yeah, to answer Jack's question, we are going to split these up into favorite moments also. So, because I knew we were going to. But there's so much universal love for these franchises. We're going to talk. So, Mac, what do you think? This is a good Jason movie or a good Freddy movie?
That Freddy movie, also a waste of Catherine Isabella. After seeing her kick ass in Ginger Snaps, I thought they completely wasted her here.
That's a good point. But man. What? That is my dream wife right there.
She got redeemed. She got redeemed with American Mary, though.
Ginger Snaps versus Jason. Oh my god,
that would be fucking crazy.
But yeah, American Mary. That's a good callback. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add here. It doesn't try to be anything more than it is, which is taking two action figures out of the toy box and throwing them against each other.
Wrestling match. It's surprising how many horror fans I see who hate action, but they're big wrestling fans. I'm like, doesn't that play into the same thing? Okay.
For real.
The only thing is, I wish Jason kind of would have taken a more active role in the fights, because it seems like he mostly just stands there and lets Freddy pummel him with all kinds of stuff, and then
Kane would
he
have
gets
done more
one
body language.
blow.
Yeah. True. All right, so across the board, I can't believe this. That's awesome.
Some truths are universal.
Awesome. Oh man. Okay, so I don't expect everyone to have seen all these, so we're gonna just go right for this one. Okay, so best TV spinoff. I'm going
Freddy's
with
Nightmares.
All right.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the series.
I have not seen any. I have never seen an episode of either
Friday
series.
the 13th the series was not anything about Jason.
Right. So
Yeah,
what
it was
do you
more
think?
show.
What do you think?
Well, neither was Freddy's Nightmares past the first episode.
I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, so
Corey Petty was in one of them.
Yeah, he was in the
Yes.
first one, and that was it.
Oh, there was so many great episodes. There's even one that's a blatant like space opera parody. There's so many others where you're like, there's a reason these guys later worked. A lot of the head writers on that later worked on Stargate and Tales from the Crypt.
Nice.
And
In both cases, doesn't it just kind of feel like an anthology series that is
Well,
like
and
What was
by-
the Friday the 13th spin-off? Because the Friday the 13th show was a Canadian show about an antique shop.
yeah,
Right.
it
I
felt more
remember.
like a treasure hunting.
It had
show
nothing.
with
It had nothing to do with the
Freddy. There was more sexy and pulp type tales in the second
Yeah.
season. Every
Friday
episode's
the
on Daily
13th
Motion.
presents Needful Things.
Right, basically.
What
It's a
I've
Stephen King.
heard, it was supposed to feature an episode at one point where Jason's mask was going to be the featured
Kinda.
object, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason that never
They
happened.
can't, and it's so dumb because they gave it extra years, and you're like, come on, man. But yeah, the Freddy show was cool because I just loved all the different people that it focused on. You know, various
I've never
reporters,
even heard of it.
kidnappers, robbers, sex workers, scientists, prisoners, campers, lawyers, and cops. Sometimes
Tales
some
from
of
the
them.
Dark Side was better than both of them.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
man! Shots fired.
Outer Limits beats it all.
The original Outer Limits.
I like both.
I like Night Gallery.
Night Gallery was fucking
Night Gallery.
amazing.
Oh, okay. I just said Tales from the Crypt. Come on,
I like
that
Twilight
triumphs.
Zone 2002.
Well, to be
Got the
fair,
box
that
set right over there.
Hey, to be fair, it's a spin-off of the original one because it brings back the evil telekinesis kid. Okay, so we got a vote from me, Jack, and Jim for Elm Street show. Who else said? Okay,
Freddy's Nightmares.
Ryan said okay.
I have to
And
abstain.
Street-
I haven't seen either, so I got to abstain.
All right, and no one else has seen any of these.
Nope.
All right.
I want to throw one extra thing in here if I can.
Yes.
There is a Friday the 13th fan film on YouTube called, what's it called? It's
Oh yeah,
called
that.
Never
Alone.
Fans of
Never
Time
Alone.
Fanboy or whatever.
I promise we're gonna review some of the fan films on here.
Is that
Yeah.
the one with Darcy the Mail Girl in it?
No, it's
Is
the
it
one.
Fanboy 13?
This guy is camping out alone near Crystal Lake, and he has to face off against Jason. It's like a survivor thriller, but it's really well made, and it's got the actor that played Tommy Jarvis in Part 6. He comes back.
Oh wow!
I think it's
Oh, the
never,
guy from
never
Return
hike
of the Living
alone.
Dead.
Yeah.
Tom
Never,
Matthews.
yeah,
Tom
never
with the
hike
Mail.
alone.
Yeah,
Never hike in the snow or
Yeah, never hike
Yeah,
again.
never
Let
hike
me ask
alone.
you a question.
Never hike in the snow
Never
with the
kill
sea.
again. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? And me and my co-host Vinny have discussed this. What did Jason do in the winter months?
Hibernated.
Hibernate. I love how he said it.
Because
He
we
went
talked
around
about this for a long period of time recently, and it's like, well, Jason, Michael Myers not on Halloween, he does nothing. If you're awake, Freddy does nothing. What does Jason do in the winter months when nobody's at his camp. And because you could just not go to camp, here's Crystal Lake and die.
Both the canceled Platinum Dunes sequel to the remake and the canceled series, well, I guess now it's back on with a different showrunner, were intending to feature Jason in the snow at one point.
Wow.
That was a thing they wanted to do. And I think when Dave Bruckner was going to make the second Platinum Dunes movie, he also was thinking, I want to set it at wintertime and do some Shining stuff.
Oh boy.
Until there's an answer what Jason does in the winter months when nobody, you could just not die in a Friday the 13th movie by just not going to Crystal Lake.
Just don't die, man. Just don't die.
Just don't go there.
Ryan, I think we both know the answer. In the winter months, he leaves footprints.
Yeah, that's it. He just walks around.
Or he's hibernating and regenerating.
So here's my final thought. I know I'm sure Cam has more things, but my final thought is
I'm just telling the points.
You don't want to die in a Friday the 13th movie, just don't go to Crystal Lake.
Don't fucking die.
Don't have sex.
Oh no, that's Scream, Oreo. Copyright infringement.
Oh no.
I don't know.
So Platinum Dunes, right?
Yes, Michael Bay. I'm sorry, couldn't help. I mean, he worked on Texas Chainsaw. They should have just kept mixing those two together. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Probably had copyright issues to deal with, and whoever owned it too.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the biggest thing. It's like who has the rights to whatever film and shit.
Well, no Platinum Dunes movies has gotten a sequel except for the Quiet Place movies.
That's true. And Gabriel Jewett is also for Nightmares. So there you go. And so yeah, now we're on who has the better remake, and
the answer is Friday the 13th.
Friday.
You know, I figured this much.
One.
Let's end this thing Friday. Let's go.
The answer is neither one.
I don't know, dude. I kind of
neither
feel like
is great,
if
but
you can
Friday 13th,
disconnect.
they tried more. You know,
Ryan,
I would rather watch the remake than the first three movies of the original.
I do think that objectively, if you can disconnect from the entire series, that Friday the 13th remake, that's a good movie. It actually is a good
He takes hostages?
Yeah.
It's a different Jason.
It's a fast Jason. It's a pot
Jason's
growing
scary.
Jason.
So he ran only in 3. He ran only in 3, which he does in the remake.
He runs in part 2.
A little bit.
So you
ran more than Steve on the Dead remake too, right? So...
You hate the Dawn of the Dead remake? Zombies Run?
He doesn't take hostages in any of them.
The remake.
And Freddy, they turn Freddy into a child fucker, which I know Wes Craven toyed with, but he decided not to do that.
Too much.
No, the Platinum Dunes Nightmare on Elm Street sucks on every level, and those are smart,
so
talented
uninteresting.
People, and boy, did they make a bad movie.
I'll take that film.
It's bad.
How
on
dare
every
you, sir.
level.
Do I have to pick one?
Yes. Or you can
say
abstain.
neither.
Or you can say I don't want to vote this year. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to vote this year because they both suck.
All right.
Ryan, can I tell you something that I believe in my heart of hearts?
Yes.
Eric Mears is the best Jason.
What was that?
Oh,
Eric Mears.
Okay, those are some
is
fighting
the
words.
only actor who turned Jason into a character.
Jack.
He's the best Jason.
It made him scary.
Are we talking to Jack?
That was
or are
a
we talking
scary
to Jack
Jason.
in the box here? Come on now. All right,
He's
so
my
Lucas,
favorite Jason.
which had the better remake?
Jack, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you.
All right, that's fine. We got to end this, guys. So
Ryan,
Lucas,
do you know who Derek's favorite Jason is?
Who?
Dead White. He said he took all his inspiration from him.
Good for
okay.
him.
See that
I'm
makes
glad he had
sense.
inspiration. So Lucas, what do you think? Sorry.
I guess if I got to pick, I'll go with Friday the 13th.
I mean, you don't have to vote if you don't want to.
Because at least for the first 25 minutes, it's great.
They at least
That's a
tried
great
playing
Friday
a
the
character.
13th short film.
There was
After
some
that-
camp, even though it wasn't quite there. I will give you points to Nana Visitor. She did good as Betsy Palmer's role.
After that, it just
yeah,
it's got good kills, but that's about
All
it.
right. Parker, what are you thinking?
The theater.
Oh, Friday all the way. Friday
Yeah.
all the way. This is one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies. I love this movie.
Oh, hey.
It rules.
I think Park and I are on the same page on this one.
This Jason is the scariest Jason in the franchise, hands down.
Well, because I find it disappointing, but it's perfectly watchable. And to Jack's point, I would have seen a sequel to a remake. I think it would have fared way better. It's just way more self-aware. Oreo, what are you thinking?
I'm going with Elm Street.
Okay.
I liked it.
I know you liked it. Why?
It's different. And I like Jackie. Jackie's really good.
He wasn't the problem with that movie. It was everything else.
The pacing.
All respect to Jack Earl Haley. He's a great actor.
All right.
Rooney Mara flat out admits she did not want to be in the movie and purposely did a bad job.
Poor Kellen Lutz. Yeah. Jim, where are you gonna go?
Friday the 13th. I have to because I didn't see the Elm Street remake.
Gabe, talk to me, buddy. Talk to me, Goose.
Friday 13th for sure. I hate the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I think
Yeah. Such an annoying music too. That just is like, why is it getting louder? People are talking.
I just went to a screening of the Friday 13th remake. That they had
Really?
in the theater. Yeah, we went to a screening. We showed in the theater. And I'll tell you, man, revisiting it after all this time, like that, it really works with an audience.
It's still bad.
It's still
so
good.
bad it's good.
No, when I saw it the first time, I wasn't totally sold on it, but rewatching it the other day, I think it's a really good movie. Objectively, I think it's a really good movie.
Objectively, I love this, man. I love it. All right, so Mac.
I hated the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, so I'm just gonna go with Friday the 13th on general principle. I haven't seen it, but I'm just gonna go with.
Oh, wait, no, you can't.
Have you seen any movie?
That was Oreo who was.
Yeah, you
out.
can't take a page out of my book.
All right, so let's just say not applicable.
Yeah.
These nuts. Okay, so Bill, talk to me and close us out.
Never seen either.
Okay, not applicable. But Friday the 13th, due to the amount of writing ins and only one dissenting vote, is gonna win. So now I gotta tally these fucking things up. Damn. Okay.
I can't count. 5.
Stop. Let me talk.
Go. Yellow be slow.
Okay, so
42. Carry the 5.
no, this isn't Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, asshole.
Got one.
42, and that's it. Why 2-1? Yeah. Okay. So tallying this up because math are hard. Okay, so Elm Street 1 Part 1, 13th 1 Part 2, Elm Street 1 Part 3. Please stop. 13th 1 Part 4, 5, and 6. Couldn't believe it. The whole Tommy Jarvis saga. 1. And Part 7, 1, obviously.
You got the touch.
This is not
You're
a
gonna get
Transformers.
copyright strike for that.
Yeah. Part 8, 1. So, wow. It's really closer than I thought.
That's what she said.
Fuck off. Part 8 got a dissenting no. Part 9 also got a dissenting no. That's just
Deservedly.
dead space right there. I know. Jason X, surprisingly, all of us loved, and
Well, just goes to show how diverse the films have become over the years.
Cam, were any of the movies unanimous?
Yeah, both. Jason X was unanimous. I couldn't believe it. And
There you go, guys. If we ever get together, we'll watch Jason X.
Yes, Jason X.
Versus was pretty much the same. You were the only dissenting vote saying it's disappointing on rewatch, but
No, I think it's okay, and I think someone else agreed with me.
Okay, so you did love it all. Okay, so
No, I'm on the fence. I said I was on the fence.
Oh, you
Me
gotta
and
decide.
Jim,
You gotta
me and Jim
decide.
thought it was just okay.
Well, okay is still passing, so
I give it a C.
that's
That'll
still
work.
passing. Okay.
I want to give it a D minus.
Oh my word! Stop. Okay, so with all these 14 points, I'm the split the vote.
Who won?
Stop. Seriously. Okay, so so that's a win for Freddy. on the verses. One for Elm Street. Jesus, this is closer than I thought. Okay, so okay. Ultimately, Jesus, this is so close. How am I gonna break this tie? Okay, so again, Elm Street 1, 3, and 7, obviously. And no one wins on part 8 and 9, obviously. And so, but that still gives Jason points on 2, 4, 5, 6, and 10, and the remake.
Nice.
But again, it's kind of a win for both of them as a good movie. And Freddy won the verses. So, Jesus. What do I pick? I gotta flip
Freddy.
a coin.
Jason.
Hold up.
Jason.
Okay. This is loud.
Freddy.
All right, no, so I'm on the fence here, guys. We're it's so close.
Well, this is a shitty podcast. I quit.
You. You'll be here next Tuesday.
I know.
I guess we're gonna have to fight it out in the courts.
I guess. It's 14 points. I thought it was going to be pretty straightforward. How do we want to do this, gang? And then we'll end.
Wait, is it a tie?
That's what I'm
Right,
saying. It's a tie.
How about we go around the room right now and say Freddy or Jason?
No, I don't know, man. I kind
No.
of
See,
let's leave it a tie.
it's about.
Well, leave it a tie. You want to leave it the ambiguous ending of Freddy vs. Jason?
With a wink, with a Freddy.
Then we're gonna get hate mail. We gotta decide.
Are we?
Yes, because then we're gonna do all...
hate mail no matter
Are you
what,
not
from
used
one
to
side
getting
or the
hate
other.
mail? I get hate mail all the time.
I know, but
If
we
you don't
actually...
get hate mail, you're not doing something right.
I know.
Oh, bring me on. We can
I had to start a new Twitter because I got new hate mail.
We seriously got to break the tie because it's gonna. This franchise is gonna face off with other franchise versus.
Oh boy.
It's a final. It wouldn't make sense if I play Freddy once and then play Jason in the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? To quote
Do
Trailer
we
Park
all own all the movies on physical media?
Yes.
I'm still trying to get those discount Blu-rays.
I have the Freddy's on VHS and DVD.
I have all of the Freddy movies on DVD. I have the first Friday on.
I have the Fridays on VHS, DVD, twice, Blu-ray twice.
I have the Jasons on DVD, but the Freddy's on VHS and DVD.
I don't know any of them on DVD or Blu-ray.
All right.
Well, then,
let's decide this. It's way past my bedtime.
Right. We all gotta sit in. We gotta pick a winner. You know, it's still close.
Freddy is the most creative killer. Jason just keeps getting killed.
That has nothing to do with the winner.
Let's go alphabetically.
Plant your flag. Okay.
Freddy wins.
There we go. That'll work.
Wait. Let's do it as a coin toss.
All right.
That'll work.
Jack, you want to do the honorary coin toss? You said step in as moderator. I love it. I can't believe it. I did not expect this at all.
Is he getting up to feed his cats? His beautiful, majestic cats?
No. Although, what do you think, Cat?
I love cats.
Everyone loves cats.
I got 2 cats, and one's Freddy and one's Jason. So
I have 4.
Really?
It's Freddy, and Freddy.
Spot, Kirk, and Spock.
All right.
Okay. So,
all right, you ready? I'm going to flip it. And Ryan, you're voting Freddy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll flip it and you call in the air.
Heads.
Hold on.
No, this is all right.
It's heads.
Oh,
Freddy wins.
The child. Sorry, Lucas. I'm sorry. I like Jason. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
The child molester killer wins.
He's a killer. He's not a molester until the remake. So shut up.
Just a minute. I'm going somewhere with this. It's child killer versus rapist. I think.
There we go.
Yeah.
We both win.
Wasn't a rapist until the remake.
How do we end this thing?
It's all past our bedtime. Thank you all for playing the game. I can't believe we relented. I did not know it was going to be this close.
4
I really
hours.
didn't. I thought so many were just going to even out by just numbers, and even then, it wasn't enough.
I'm never going to be invited back on this show because of this.
No, you're fine. Stop.
Uh-huh.
So is this going to be like a 2-parter?
Yes, we're going to split up into favorite moments. But hey, this is just in time for Halloween. Thank you all for playing the game. This turned out way better than ever expected. It was a very chill crowd. And it was so much tongue-in-cheek humor. We kept the momentum going.
It's all good fun. It's
so
all
as
good.
far as I'm concerned, guys, you are all the decorations, and Christmas came early. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for the invite.
Yes,
for letting me on the show. This was fun. Thank you.
Jim, you were our star we put on there. Lucas, you led the charge. Ryan and Parker, you perfectly played off each other. You guys should guest on each other's show.
Absolutely.
I had fun just with the nostalgia factor. Mac, holy shit, dude. You just
Mac.
You owned it. Just like your name. Gabe, I loved how you just kind of reminded us, hey guys, we're all here to have fun. You were the peacekeeper, Jack, you were the moderator. I don't know what the fuck I did other than make more lame jokes. But
I'd rather argue about movies than any other subject, so you guys really made my night. Thank you so much.
That works.
I'll argue movies all day long, so
much
like Who's Line, the points
we'll get along great, Brian.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up